Welcome to the Ada K Show. I'm your host, Ada K, and I am a criminal justice major. I am also a deaf courtroom commentator, breaking down the gripping courtroom drama while providing full ASL interpretation, making justice accessible to everyone. Grab a... Hey, I don't know what just happened. That was weird. Interesting. Things have been glitchy. I gotta show this. Okay, we're good. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm back, and we've got several things going on that's just popped up. We have a Derek Rosa attorney clashing court. We're going to watch that, and then we finally got video with Ian Mitcham. Remember, we were on day 9 of his trial, and then all of a sudden we couldn't get anything anymore. Well, guess what? They posted day 10 and 11. So we are going to be watching day 10 for the moment. And I just realized that has been sitting there. Oh, I hate seeing that. Oh, well, nothing I can do. That's going to go bye-bye real soon. And my graduation flowers, I'm drying them out. I know, they were so pretty. Okay, guys, real quick. We're going to watch the Derek Rosa video real quick. And then we are going to go. Let me get everything the way I need to get it. Okay, we're going to do that real quick. And then we're going to go. Well, thank you. And then we are going to go into the Ian Mitcham trial, and I will give us a recap so everybody catches up. But at the moment, I love this courtroom. It's kind of creepy with the yellow glowing behind the judge, but it is. Here we go.
Thank you. We're here in Derek Rosa, State of Florida versus Derek Rosa, case number F23-21321. Could I ask the parties to announce their appearance, please?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Jonathan Morse, Rachel Morales Gillis, and Kathleen Polk on behalf of the state.
Good morning, Your Honor. David Sarviello, Marisol Descalso, and Michelle Medina on behalf of Derek Rosa.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Okay, we are not on Zoom at this time. We had anticipated starting this as a webinar, but we're having some technical difficulties doing that. Before we get going, I wanted we're likely to just open up as our regular Zoom, but only allow in people that we recognize as opposed to broadcasting. The difficulty we have is if we do it as a regular Zoom, everyone can be shown, everyone can chat, everyone can speak. And I think that would be disruptive. As a webinar, we can control who can do that until we get that expertise. If we can start it as a webinar, any objections to doing it in that fashion?
No objection.
Defense?
Judge, if it works, no objection. I do have 2 clerks that are waiting to log on. So if the
We'll
webinar works,
We'll get them in as quick as we can.
thank you.
Okay. I thought we had the capacity to do it, but we're still working on putting it together as a webinar. All right. Before we commence with the motion to suppress, one other thing that I was told is still out there is pursuant to our case management order that was entered back in November. I have asked that each party, this is on page 3 of the order, identify all witnesses it intends to call at trial and all exhibits it intends to introduce at trial by January 1. If you feel it appropriate, I can address that specifically after I address the motion to continue the trial, but I have not seen anything filed on that. So I bring it to the party's attention that if we proceed to trial after the motion for continuance is heard, I'll be needing to see a separate list of who your witnesses are that you anticipate to call from both sides. Is there any reason why we cannot at this time proceed to the motion to suppress filed by the defense back on May 28th of 2024.
Yes, Your Honor. If I may, as a preliminary matter, I'm going to renew the motion that I put forth before the court for attendance on the 23rd of December. We are, without a doubt, 100% certainty, filing a writ with the third DCA. The order was not received by my office until the order denied the disqualification of the second verified motion to disqualify trial judge. We did not receive that order until the second. That was a holiday. Unfortunately, appellate counsel, we have contact with appellate counsel. She's not available to file the writ until the 7th. So again, I would like to motion this court for a stay pending the filing of that writ, which will also ask the third for a separate stay on these proceedings.
I'm sorry, should have got this straight. Y'all filed a motion to recuse the trial court on December 22. It was denied by written order on December 23, logged into CJIS appropriately, and a written order given to the clerk. And we're on January 5, and I guess what you're asking for is a stay so that some lawyer who's not available until later can write a petition for writ of prohibition?
A couple of
Did I
corrections.
hear that right?
Well, corrections on your honor's dates. The motion, the second verified motion to disqualify trial judge was denied on the 23rd
Yes.
in open court. At that time, your honor made sure that the order was entered into the system. I, as well as Ms. Descalzo, were not able to access that order online. It was not available until the second. As your honor knows, Christmas was a holiday. The first was a holiday. I don't know if the second was, but the bottom line is that I did not receive that order until Ms. Frizo, your JA, your honor, sent it to me on January 2nd after I requested it. Either way, I'm representing to this court in good faith that we are unequivocally filing a writ with the third DCA. The timing, your honor, I'm sure you could understand, because of the holidays and everybody being out, it's a little bit difficult. And everything that this appellate counsel has to review, because now we're on the second verified motion. But I could guarantee, your honor, and tell you in good faith that that will happen. And based on that, I'm asking if the court will stay the proceedings. That's the only matter that I have that would impede us in moving forward with the motion to suppress.
Thank you, ma'am. This is the second time you've sought a stay on a petition that someday may be filed. It's denied for a second time.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
Before we proceed, your honor, if I
Yes,
may,
ma'am.
with the motion to suppress, is it okay if we address Attorney Descalzo's notice of appearance?
No, ma'am.
May I finish, please? And her motion, her emergency motion for a continuance, can that be for today? She filed it last week, Your Honor.
Yes, I have a copy of her emergency motion for continuance. It seeks a continuance of the trial. It does not seek a continuance of the motion to suppress that was filed on May 28th, in which we had arranged way back in August would be heard today. Because her motion does not specifically or does not at all address this proceeding, no, we're going to go forward on the motion to suppress at this time.
I understand, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes,
I understand your ruling, that's perfectly
thank
acceptable.
you.
The only thing that I would ask is that when we are going to address the motion to continue, which I hope we will do at some point today, that we can go into chambers. I've discussed it with the state. I don't believe that they oppose. There's some things that weren't put in the public motion that we would like to discuss. I think both parties are prepared to discuss with Your Honor in chambers with the court reporter.
It was not my intent to address the motion, your emergency motion to continue until we concluded the motion to suppress. I don't know if we're going to be able to complete that today at this pace. If you guys feel differently, you'll tell me. But if you think we can get it done today, then I will order up a court reporter to be present at some time late today or the first thing tomorrow morning at 9:30 to discuss.
Wow,
this
he's-
file.
Thank you, Your Honor. My ignorance, I apologize. I
He is being snippy,
did
y'all.
not realize that there's not a court reporter in the room. course, it's.
Well, there is here,
But not over
but if
there.
you want to chambers, because I'm not doing anything on this case that is not recorded and stored in the court file.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
I agree. And I
Or-
apologize.
or-
for my ignorance.
Well, for the most part, any case, but this one seems to be more
Of-
important.
Of course, and I think that this afternoon or tomorrow morning is fine with us. I don't know how the state feels about it.
Well, let me do this next process that I was gonna
Sure.
do, and it might educate us on where we're going. I don't need a complete opening statement like you would do with a jury, but it would be, I am curious as to what evidence you intend to present. I'll hear from the state first, and then I'll hear from the defense as to what is expected to be presented during this motion. In abbreviated fashion, if you would, so I want to get a sense of how long we'll be working on this.
Understood, Judge.
And not to, I'm sorry to interrupt one more time, but Connor, is it okay if we sit over at this table just because?
Sure.
Thank you, Connor.
Y'all. Oh, snap, y'all. That was a little tissy, don't you think? Oh, yo, that got a little bit up there. Just saying. Okay, we do have, let me get the right format up. Is it this one? No, it's this one. We are now going to go into the Ian Mitcham trial. Let me get the, and we're going to go through the Ian Mitchell. We're going to go through it real quickly. Don't worry. We're not going to spend a lot of time. So opening statements started November 12th. Yes, this case has been going on that long. Prosecution introduced the 2015 Red Room 31-year-old Allison Feldman was found beaten to death in her Scottsdale home. They previewed the DNA evidence and the backbone of their case, emphasizing the brutality of the scene and the long investigated road that led to Mitcham. Defense challenges the reliability of the DNA investigation, suggesting contamination, investigative tunnel vision, alternative explanations. Day 2, the Crime Scene Foundation, Scottsdale PD crime scene personnel began walking jurors through the internal response, introducing photos, layouts, early observations of the home. Hold on. Sorry. Day 3 was the forensic part of it began. More crime scene testimony establishing a chain of custody for the physical evidence, early references to the bleach odor and unusual surface residue. Foreshadowing Day 4 testimony was gruesome crime scene details. This day was well documented in Hoodland Key testimony from Kathleen Palma, Scottsdale PD crime scene investigator. Lieutenant Hugh Lockbury, Scottsdale PD major points were a strong smell of chlorine bleach throughout the home. A white substance was found in multiple surfaces on Feldman's car and in the garage. A blood trail snaking through the house, indicating movement during or after the attack. Jurors were shown graphic photos, detailed forensic mapping. This day set the tone for the prosecution's theory of a violent, chaotic struggle and an attempt to clean up. Day 5 continued with forensic and DNA setup. More testimony on the evidence collected, lab personnel being prepared for DNA analysis. The prosecution continued to build the chain of custody for the biological samples. Now, Day 6, DNA evidence, Part 1. Analysts explained the testing of introduced the early DNA hits that eventually led investigators to the familial DNA research. The defense cross-examined heavily on the contamination, storage, and lab protocols. Day 7, DNA evidence part 2, was more detailed testimony with the DNA match that pointed to Mitcham. Explanation on how investigators use familial DNA to narrow the suspects and major pretrial legal battle. The defense continued to attack the methodology and the statistical certainty. Yeah, 900 gazillion, bazillion, trillion, badillion to 1, it was him. Day 8, transition day before resuming in December. Day 8 wrapped up the forensic testimony and prepared jurors for the next phase. Themes were finalizing the DNA testimony, preparing to move into the investigative interviews, digital evidence, and timeline reconstruction. Day 9, our last day with the trial, was a return from the break December 16th. The news confirmed the trial resumed on 16th after the break. Day 9 was focused on witnesses, additional forensic investigative witnesses, but not fully detailed. Continued testimony, trying physical evidence to Mitcham. Key themes were reinforcing of the prosecution forensic narrative, clarification of earlier testimony before moving into the advanced investigative evidence, which is where we are now. And then we lost stream. For some reason, they would not allow us the stream. Okay, everybody, woohoo, getting spicy with that, Judge, it was. Yeah, you can go back and rewatch. Yeah, the judge they were being a little spicy in there. Thank you so much. Thank you, June. I didn't do that. You're right. My bad. Okay. Now we are going to get into this trial. Whoop. I'm trying to find the proper layout. There we go. Volume is on.
These are a little out of order only because some have already been admitted.
I'm going to go back. We're going to skim through her. We finally have voice on this woman. Okay. The whole time we hadn't. All right, here we go.
And Judge, again, these are a little out of order only because some have already been admitted. And
love my coffee warmer.
I'm not going to go back over some that have already been talked about, but ones that have not been admitted that I would move to admit by stipulation are 459, 467, and 469 through 495.
And confirming any objection. It's ordered admitting 459, 467, and 469 through 495 into evidence.
And I'm not going to show 459 at this point, but I'm just going to ask, so it doesn't seem like I'm skipping anything, Judge, if perhaps this witness can just let me know what 459 is. May I approach, Judge?
You may. You may, and you have continuing permission.
So one thing I love about this judge, he may approach. She asked for the procedural. Hey, Judge, Your Honor, may I approach? She does. Yes, you can, and you may continue to do so without asking with this witness. I appreciate the courtesy that this court is exhibiting. I'm all in for this.
This is Allison Feldman.
Oh, by the way, you guys, if you see me looking up like this, I am watching the captioning up here. It's too small on this screen, so I have it really big up there. Please don't be offended.
Is it at the home that evening?
Yes, it is.
I'll get that one from you. Okay, so I'm going to move into 467. And just as a reminder, when you are present that first evening, some of the markers that we're using are those the letter markers.
Correct.
And some of these photos on Monday, and perhaps today as well, I moved through a little bit faster. Is it fair to say, Ms. Davis, that can you remind me what's your role at this point in the investigation on that early evening into the morning hours?
So that first day, I was tasked with doing the documentation of the scene. So I'm there basically walking room to room, documenting what I see, how things are as we saw them that night. We're not touching anything. We're not moving anything really. This picture does show that we at some point took a cutting But like I said, the letters were lab based. So that's the lab personnel asking us to do stuff and document it.
And so what are we looking at here in 467?
So this is a shot of the living room, and it is
Why is it not up? What happened? Okay, was it up before, guys, or am I just imagining things? I see it's just me on the screen. Why did it do that? I didn't touch it. I thought I had it up. My apologies. Here we go again.
documenting
Stay.
what I see, how
told you,
things
stay.
are as we saw them that night. We're not touching anything. We're not moving anything really. This picture does show that we at some point took a cutting, but like I said, the letters were lab based. So that's the lab personnel asking us to do stuff and document it.
And so what are we looking at here in 467?
So this is a shot of the living room, and it is showing the couch, and then it is showing evidence marker R, which was a red stain on the couch, which has now been cut out of the couch.
So now I'm going to go to
Gruesome.
469 at this point. What is that?
So this is after Allison has been placed in the body bag. This is called the medical examiner seal. They seal the body bag for a chain of custody.
So this is just a photograph of what would be the seal with the medical examiner information?
Yes, it gives it, so we document that the seal with the seal number.
Okay, that's 469. Now we're kind of moving to different area of the home, but do you recognize this picture, 470?
Yes, it is the security box, the screen. I believe it was like a little tablet.
And as we move through some of these additional photographs of this tablet, just to remind ourselves, this is the first night you're there is the evening of the 18th into the early morning hours of the 19th.
Correct.
And so this is some information that you are present for, although maybe someone else is taking the actual picture of this tablet.
Yes.
Okay. Was it your job to then kind of look at the information that was coming from this tablet and analyze it as it related to other facts potentially known at that point, or were you more of the documentation and collection role?
I was at this point purely documentation.
Okay. So if I'm moving through these pictures, and I might ask you a little bit about what this information coming from this tablet is, but my question to you is, you weren't tasked with kind of compiling an understanding of what the information meant as it related to the investigation.
No, I was not.
Okay, that might be a better question for a different witness.
Yes.
Okay, that was 470, so I'm moving now to 471. So is this that same tablet?
Yes, it is.
And now, what are we looking at?
So on this tablet, when you look into the history, it is showing you all of the conditions of the doors throughout the house that have monitors on them.
And are you the best person to tell us which of these descriptions corresponds to which door?
I can't explain where they are.
Okay,
Yes.
so help me understand.
So the master bathroom door is located in her master bathroom on the east wall, I believe. It's actually in the master bathroom,
Where does that lead to?
goes to the backyard.
Okay.
The front door is the front door of the house, leads to the front yard. The garage door is, I believe, the door that is in the laundry room that leads out to the side yard and the garage. But there also was like an electric door on the garage too.
And what about, well, I'll go to the, what about front door? That might be obvious. You might have said that one already.
Yeah, the front door was in the front of the house that led to the front yard.
Okay. We have like an overall diagram that I'm gonna get to, but that we've seen of the house, like a drawing of the house that would also kind of orient us a little bit. But as you're looking at this tablet, is this in, well, tell me about the time on the right-hand side.
So these times are showing actually our entry and exits from those doors because this is on the 19th at that time that we're there.
Okay, so we're looking at, February 19th at 1:32 a.m. This is a time frame where you are present with other detectives and crime scene personnel working in the home?
Yes.
Okay. And this kind of, does this go sort of backwards in time? As
Yes.
it logs? Okay.
Yes, it does.
So now I'm going to move to 472. At this point, again, we're going to have more questions on this later for a different witness, but I just want to kind of point out, are these some sort of the same doors you had described before?
Yes.
And again, going to the earliest in time, February 18th, 2015 at 11:09 p.m. At that point, are police already present?
Yes, we're still there.
Okay. Did you see either on exhibit 471, going back one, looking at the doors specifically that are referenced, and 472, do you see any references on either of those exhibits to the Arcadia or sliding glass door?
No.
Okay. So now we're going to go to 473. Now here again, I'm going to ask you just, you talked about what the doors are, but I want to slow down a little bit on the right side, the timing. So now we're getting as early as February 18th at 9 o'clock. Is that still when police are present?
Yes.
Okay, move a few more. 470, that was 473, Judge. Now I'm getting to 474. Can you see that? It's a little blurry. I don't know if it's gonna get better. Can you see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm gonna ask, keep moving through the house again. We're still on the 18th, or as this one just goes as early as 7:42.
Correct.
And again on here, do you see in 474 or take a look at that one for me first before I flip back and forth, or 473, do you see again any reference to the Arcadia or sliding glass door at that point?
No.
Okay. Now we're moving, continuing on here, 475. Again, we're still on the 18th as early as 4:37.
Correct.
Okay, and again, you're taking a picture of these sort of every screen or every time log that you can?
Yes.
Okay. Again, we have the master bath and the garage door only,
Correct.
at least on this one. Okay. Now we're getting to 476. Again, going to move through this one a little bit fast, but again, we have the doors that you've mentioned already, correct?
Correct.
And again, we have from this one as early as February 18th at 4:06 p.m.
Correct.
Okay. Now we're at 477. And what do we have here? All front door?
Correct.
Okay, and again, February 18th. Can you just tell me a little, what's the time frame of this February 18th opening and closing of the front door?
So this, I believe, is getting towards near the start of the call. So this would have been when her boyfriend was showing up and then officers were starting to show up.
Okay. And maybe if I back up to 476, the one just prior. Here we have February 18th at 4:06 p.m. Front door open.
Mhm.
Is that accurate? Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna have to back up quite a bit to find what I'm looking for here, but. So now I'm jumping all the way back to 473, jumping back in time. We have 218 at 10:50, front door closed.
Yes,
And just for purposes of the record, I'll note at 474, there's no reference to front door, correct?
correct,
Okay, and at 475, no reference to front door?
correct.
Open or close, okay. And then we're back to what we were looking at, 476, front door open, 4:06 p.m. So now I'm gonna go to the next one. I know I kind of moved through those a little fast. We will talk about them again later in more depth. 477, can you tell me a little bit? Now we have sort of the same thing, front door open and closed. That's one we just looked at, sorry. Moving to the next one. Hopefully I'm not making you seasick here. 478. So I'm gonna leave this one for a second. What do we have here?
You're making me
So
seasick.
that is showing the front door opening and
You're making me motion sick. Oh my gosh, y'all.
closing. From the earliest time is 1 o'clock in the morning to 4:03 in the PM on the 18th.
So here I want to just draw your attention to the very bottom two entries at this point. So here we're talking about front door. Again, which door of the house is that?
The one at the front that leads out to the front yard.
Self-explanatory. Okay. And what is it? Open or closed?
It's closed at 1:04.
And so this is on the 18th of February at 1:04 a.m.
Correct.
And when is it next opened?
At 3:59 PM later that day.
Okay. And again, you didn't kind of put together analysis of other aspects of the case, but you are familiar with this tablet and looking at it the night you were there.
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to go through a few more. This is 479. Now we have some of this additional front door activity, right?
Correct.
Can you tell me a little bit about it? And I just, we've got a handful more of these, and because we're moving backwards in time, I'm going to kind of slow down, okay? So I want to just take note of the general time frame that we're talking about. So what's the earliest time on 479?
12:12 AM on the 18th.
And what's the latest time?
1:04 AM on that 18th.
And that's essentially a duplicate of the bottom entry of Exhibit 478. Are we looking at your kind of, is that right?
Yes, I believe each photo had like the last one.
You can kind of to orient as you're scrolling down here.
Correct.
Okay. So now we're going back to 479. So let's talk about this one. So earliest in time is the door opening at 12:12.
Correct.
And tell me, just walk me through what are the opening and closing timeframes on this exhibit?
So it opens at 12:12 at 11 seconds, closes at 12:12 at 24 seconds, opens again at 12:16 and 55 seconds, closes again at 12:17 and 8 seconds, opens at 12:59 and 7 seconds, closes at 12:59 and 14 seconds. Then it opens again at 1:04 and 47 seconds, and then closes again at 1:04 and 59 seconds.
And so we kind of, from a narrative perspective, the bottom two entries, what are the doors opening and closing? Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And how many seconds apart is it opening and closing?
13.
And then we have another kind of pair of opening and closing right above that I'm the sort of from the bottom, 3 and 4 from the bottom here on Exhibit 479. What are the opening and closing times there?
About 4 minutes difference.
Maybe my fingers probably are
Oh, 1
not
minute.
doing it justice here, but so it opens at 12:16:55.
Yeah. And then so
Okay.
like 10 less than 10 seconds.
Okay. So then closes 12. So these two pairs that I've just referenced, they're the door opening and closing in a matter of 10 to 15 seconds difference.
Yes,
Okay. But and they're what probably you were referencing is they're 4 minutes apart from each other.
yes.
Got it. Okay. So now I'm going to go up. And now between this entry 4 from the bottom, 12:17, is there a gap between that and the next time the front door opens?
Yes.
And what about is that gap? You know, it doesn't have to be exact, but the sort of total minutes or roughly.
Like 40, looks like what, 40 minutes?
Okay. So from 12:17, of the door closing here, there's a 40-minute gap to it opening again on the 18th at 12:59.
Yes,
And then how long until it closes?
7 seconds.
Okay. And then how long until it opens again between these entries at the top here, these two?
Like 5 minutes.
So 5 minutes. Okay. And then we have the door opening at 1:04. How long until it closes again in that last closure in that early morning hours?
Like 10 seconds.
Okay. And just so we're clear, that 1:04:59 is the last closure in that early morning until almost 4 p.m. Essentially that same day, but much later that same day.
Correct.
Okay. So this one we have again that duplicate that we talked about, the 12, 12, 11 at the top. But I want to now talk to you about some of these other entries. So it's a little too zoomed in. Okay. So we've got a handful more as we move earlier into the night, but let's focus on, just start at the bottom here. This, again, tell me what doors are we looking at?
So on this sheet, you have the front door, which is the front door that leads out front. The back door, I believe this is referencing that sliding glass door.
Okay. And so here we have the first reference that, at least from your testimony, of what's been deemed back door,
Correct.
as opposed to, I think, master bath door.
Yes.
Okay. So now we have, tell me about these pattern of opening and closing. And maybe if I go, well, you can skip this one because we're going to get to it in the next exhibit. Might make more sense, the opening and closing of the back door at 10:20. So just start here at the 10:58 and walk me through the doors.
Okay. So the back door is opening on the 17th at 10:58:56. It is closing 1 second later. It's opening again at that same time. It is, and then the garage door is now opening, which is the one from the the laundry room out. It's opening at 11:38:56. It closes at 11:41:33. Then that back door, the slider is closed at 12:06:29. And then the front door is opened at 12:12:11.
And just so we're kind of in the understanding of where we are so far, at the point that you're taking photos of this alarm system, the police have arrived at the house. They have, talked to Alex. They have talked to Allison, and a lot of information is still being compiled. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
So I'm not going to ask you, for instance, if you can point me to when, from your testimony, when Allison Feldman's last life activity was as it relates to these doors, because that testimony would probably need to come from other witnesses. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
Okay, so I just want to make sure as we move through, if there are questions like that of you, might be better for someone else.
Correct.
Okay, so we have these pattern of front door, garage door, back door openings and closings. And I said to skip this one here because that's exhibit 480. And I'm going to go to 481, which again starts with that 10:20:52 time frame, and ask you about this one now. So now we have, can you talk me through this one? And again, just go chronological order, if that's all right. Just start from the bottom and tell me what's happening with the doors in the house at this time frame.
All right. So on the 17th at 9:23, that garage door is being opened. The back sliding door is being closed at 9:47. The back door is then being opened again at 10:05. The back door is getting closed at 10:06. The back door is getting closed again at the same time. That garage door is being closed at 10:14. The back door is reopened at 10:20, and then it is closed again at 10:20:52.
And so again, kind of moving above this one, we have the back door that you said is that sliding Arcadia door.
Yes,
So that had been open for some period of time prior to this, and now it's closing,
correct.
presumably. Okay. Now we have that back door. This is. Can you tell me about this one here? This one that I'm trying to highlight, the pattern of this.
Yeah, it's opening and closing within 10 seconds or so. So just opening and closing.
And now I want to go through these. So we have at 10:06, what happens to the back door?
It looks like it's closed twice. I'm assuming that because it was the slider, maybe it bounced back a little bit with the sensor.
Okay, and
but
these kind of have the same time frame?
Yeah, those are the same exact.
And then moving up here, garage door had been open since, if we go to the bottom, how long about had the garage door been open according to this? Can you see it? Yeah.
About a little over 45 minutes.
Okay, so we're looking at 9:23 open to 10:14 closed.
Correct.
And then we're back to the Arcadia door, a sort of quick open and closing up here at 10:20.
Yes.
Okay, 30 seconds or so.
Yes.
Okay, that's 481. We're moving to 482. And now we're getting a little bit further back in time. So as we had talked about that garage door in 483. So I'm just going to go back, 481. We talked about the garage door being opened in that duplicate time, and it's staying open for a while. So I'm going to skip that top one, or ask you to skip that top one so it's not confusing. But take me through the time frame of the doors here.
Okay.
Sorry.
The garage door is being opened on the 17th at 7:18 and 43 seconds. It's closed at 7:19:11. It's reopened again at 7:26:43. Closed at 7:26:51. Then that back slider is opened at 8:41:32. It's closed at 8:42:20. It's opened again at 8:42:35.
And so when we were looking at the last one, the back door, you mentioned this opens here at 8:42:35.
Yes.
So I'm going to go forwards in time to exhibit 481. So if we're focusing on back door at 8:42, now where does it next close here? And I'll direct you to this line.
At 9:47:10.
So going from 481 to 482, does it appear that that back door was open for, say, 40 minutes or so? It's hard to show you both at the same time, the way that they're photographed, but is that about accurate?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm sticking with 482 for a second, and I'll move backwards. So you tell me, is this sort of a pattern of opening and closing on the lower half of this exhibit anyway? Each of these about somewhere in the 20 to 30 seconds opening and closing?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And again, we're to your understanding, the system would log the master bath door to the outside. If that had been opening and closing at that time, would that be appearing somewhere in here to your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're at 718 garage door, but I'm going to go to exhibit 483 and slow down again. We have that duplicate again.
Yes.
Okay, so this is 483. Maybe I can just move this up because it's frustrating. There we go. So now tell me a little bit about the pattern of the doors here.
All right, so now we're into early on the 17th at that garage door is being closed at 2:18:34. The back door, which is that sliding door, is open at 2:21:35. It is closed at 5:20 and 10 seconds. Then that garage door is opened at 5:20 and 28 seconds. It's closed at 5:20 and 31 seconds. It's reopened again at 7:16 and 36 seconds, closed at 7:17 and 49 seconds, and then opened again at 7:18:43.
And again, we talked about that in the last exhibit, 482, with that garage door at 718, it then closes again 30 seconds later.
Yes.
And I'm not going to go back all over those, but so now do you know, sitting here, do you have personal knowledge of when Allison arrived home that evening?
I do not know.
Okay. So we have sort of a little bit of a pattern here, but I just want to mention this back door. That's, again, the Arcadia or sliding door.
Correct.
Does it appear to stay open for a period of time?
Yes.
And what roughly is that period?
Roughly 3 hours.
Starting about 2:20 to 5:20
Correct.
or so? Okay. And then we have this garage door sort of opening and closing pretty close in time, 3 times in a row?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're going to get through sort of earlier in the day as well as we keep moving backward in time. This is 484. For this one I think maybe more important is just to help me understand generally what's happening, but I won't ask you to do much math on this one.
Thank you.
So just what doors are active here?
All right, so on this one, it's that garage door and that back sliding door.
And we can skip this bottom one here because so it'll make more sense, I think, in the next exhibit because it's that duplicate. So on this one, do we essentially have a lot of the garage door activity?
Yes,
And that's again going out into that carport.
correct.
Since you were present at the scene, do you recall if Allison's car was parked in that carport?
Yes,
And so we have activity as sort of just a opening and closing relatively close in times, several pairs.
yes,
Okay, starting at 11:39 and then up to the one we had talked about on the last slide, that 2:18 timeframe.
correct.
Okay, so now we're going back to the back door. This is again earlier in the day on the 17th. This will be the last slide of the doors. So this is exhibit 485. So we're at now 17th, 11:38 a.m.
Correct.
And this actually goes back even into the day before, the 16th.
Correct.
Okay.
So this one just has the back door and which is that slider, and then the front door. So starting on the 16th at 12:04:53, the front door is closed. It's open again at 6:46:36, closed at 6:46:53. That back door is closed at 7:57:38. Back door open at 9:55:49. The front door is open at 10:41:22. It's closed at 10:41:37. And then that back door is closed at 11:38:43.
So just kind of focusing on the 17th, does somebody open that back door in 9:55 in the morning
Yes.
and then leave it open until 11:38 in the morning?
Yes.
Again, a couple of hours, just shy of a couple hours.
Yes.
And then during that same time period, the front door is opened and closed 10 seconds, 15 seconds apart.
Correct.
Okay. And then this last one of that exhibit is 486. We're just looking at kind of the alarm system, whether it's on, off, or some information about the alarm system.
Correct.
Okay. I'm not gonna dwell on this one too much, but there may be another witness who also will talk about the alarm system in the future. So now we're staying with the house, but I have a few more photos to go through from that night, the 18th, into the early morning of the 19th. So I'm gonna ask you about exhibit 487. Can you see a placard in this exhibit? I know there's a little bit of a glare there.
Yeah, it's placard number 5.
Okay. And can you see roughly what that area of the house is? I know it might not be the perfect orientation given how zoomed in it is, but can you tell what we're looking at? Where are we in the house or outside the house?
We are in the backyard by the pool, on the pool deck.
Okay. And then, so that's 487, and I'm going to go now to 488, sticking with placard 5. What is that?
It is a sunflower seed.
Okay. And were there a handful of sunflower seeds in the backyard?
Yes, there was.
Okay. So I'm going to go through a few more. That was 488. This is now 489. What are we looking at here?
Placard number 4, which is marking another sunflower seed.
Okay. And we've seen some photos already of the back of Allison's house, but is that the backyard?
Yes, it is.
You see some coolers back there?
Yes.
Is this photograph taken at night?
It is, yes.
So we talked about how, let me get through placard 4, and then I'll have a follow-up for you. Just that sunflower seed zoomed in?
Yes.
Okay, that's 490 for the record. We talked about how the crime lab, and we mentioned the name Vicky Beamer on Monday, how the crime lab would use the ABC placards. Is this, now we've started with numbers at this point, is this some of the stuff that the CSS personnel were looking at and collecting when it comes to now the numbers that we're looking at.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go now to 491, and we're at placard. What placard is that?
Number 3.
And you see what area of the house this is?
We're still in the backyard next to the pool, on the pool
Okay.
deck.
Probably hard to see what 3 is marking in exhibit 491, but I will go to 492. So I can just see, what is that?
Another sunflower seed.
And that's just a placard 3 zoomed in?
Correct.
Okay. Were these seeds ultimately collected?
Yes, they were.
Okay. 493, again, where are we?
In the backyard, next to the pool, near the back fence.
Okay. Can you see like a pedestrian gate to exit into the alley from this vantage point?
Yes, it's in the top right.
And what placards are we looking at? Can you see those?
Number 6 and 7.
Okay. And so this is 494, placard 6 is that, what is that?
A sunflower seed.
Okay. Not gonna dwell on it for too long, but 495, placard 7,
Also a sunflower seed.
okay. And that's just a zoomed in of the placards we just looked at on the pool deck there?
Correct.
Okay. So that takes us through the photos from that evening that I wanted to ask you about. Now I want to ask you, so you're, can you remind us again what sort of shift it was that you were working back in 2015, the time frame?
I was working 6 at night to 4 in the morning.
And so you arrived, your role in the case on the 18th was that sort of overnight shift?
Correct.
Did you return for your overnight shift on the 19th?
Yes, I did.
So although it's the same day, because you were working into the early morning hours, what time about do you arrive back at the house on later in the day on the 19th?
A little bit before 6 o'clock.
And so tell me now, what's your role that day?
On that day, I again was there to document. And because the day shift had worked throughout the day, there was items that were now marked as evidence. So I went back through and anything that I had already documented, added the placard numbers to it, added anything that they had found as they were going through the house. After I was done with that, I assisted with packaging and impounding items that we had decided to collect that night.
And who's with you in that process?
That night, CSS Palma was on scene with me. She was photographing, and CSS Alexic was there, as well as our supervisors and the detectives.
And who was your supervisor again?
Mark Carpenter.
And you said the detectives, was Detective Heinzelman present?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And so you talked about at this time frame on the 19th, some swabbing was done that you were around for?
Correct.
Is that right? Before we get too far into that, I'm just going to ask you if you could kind of give us a little bit of an understanding of the swabs that we've heard so much about. This is 517. Can you just take a look at this for me?
So these are, we would call them Integra swabs. These are the swabs that we would use to collect DNA or buccal swabs. For that process, basically, we're wearing gloves.
And I think she just held something up. I don't think this exhibit has been admitted, so we'll just don't publish that to the jury.
Judge, I would move to admit 517. I'm going to ask her to
Okay.
open it up too.
Any objection?
No.
It's ordered admitting 517 into evidence.
And you just held up a few black gloves.
Those are
Is this
just a
sort of
pair
the
of
process
gloves.
you would use when
Why?
you're swabbing?
Correct, yes.
So are you gonna have them hold up a pair of gloves and admit pair of gloves every time they put them on when they hold on to the evidence? Because when you open up the evidence in front of the jury, you're supposed to have gloves on. So are you going to admit every pair of gloves that she puts on and takes off while handling this evidence? I don't know. That was just unusual.
go ahead, Judge, I'm sorry.
I didn't say anything. I think there's an echo. I'm sorry. Let me move my mic.
So go ahead and just, in looking at 517, will you go ahead and just open that up for us so we can kind of see what these swabs look like? We've heard them described.
Yes.
Are you going to move the swabs into evidence?
All right, so the swabs come prepackaged in their own individual container, keeps them sterile. We would be wearing a mask and gloves for when we would start swabbing, because we want to protect what we're swabbing from ourselves. They open, and the swab consists of the stick part, the swab, and then a plastic container. To swab, we would click the plastic container open, push the swab up, add some water to it if we needed to. If the swab, what we were swabbing was wet, you don't add water to it. Then we would take this and you would swab it on whatever you're going to swab. So stains. And for that process, you're making sure you're saturating your swab, you're spinning it to make sure it's getting on all the sides, the tip. Once we're done and collected what we need to, you pull that cap back over, close it. To protect it, most of the time we're putting the swab back in its original packaging. And then this package is being placed inside of an evidence envelope.
Yep.
Because this has to be transferred back to our office and placed in a dryer so that the swab is dried. Then it is impounded and placed in the freezer.
And since you mentioned it, tell me about the dryer. What does that look like? What's that process? Where is it at?
So the dryers are located in the CSS processing lab at our District 1 station, which is the station on McKellips. In the CSS office, we have a section that's deemed the lab, not the main lab, but our part where we can do small processing. The swab dryers are small little dryers that have plastic trays in them where the swab stick goes down into it and it holds it there in place. We would click this open, push it partially down just so that the airflow could hit the swab while it sits in there. It can hold several swabs together, but you're only working with stuff from one case at a time. They close, they have a door you can close, you can lock, you can secure them with a seal, somewhat kind of like the ME seal, but they're a little bit different style. And in the meantime, prior to pushing our stuff in there, we're wiping it down with bleach solution, cleaning all the sides, making sure the tray is good to use. And then we're also doing at the end, after we pull all of our evidence out, we're cleaning. There, you don't have access to it anymore. Property then, whenever they come in to collect the item, comes on the other side of the wall and they have access to all of the lockers, and they pull out the evidence and log it and place it where it needs to go.
And that's ultimately where evidence would be stored at that point until it's needed for whether it goes to the lab or comes to court or something else.
Yes.
And again, not to belabor the point, but who sort of has access? That property, is that a police facility?
Yes, it is.
Can anybody just go into the property building and browse for items?
No.
So it's secure, just like the place you were talking about at the lab where you process things, only police personnel are allowed.
Correct, yeah. The property area is even more secure. We're not, even as crime scene people or detectives or officers, we're not permitted to go into the property part of it. So we're just allowed in that little intake room. That's as far as we get to go with our evidence.
So after it's been impounded, is it, we've talked about how you have an item, it has a photo marker. Do you also tend to impound things and provide your badge number and an item number often on the actual item?
Yes.
Once it gets impounded, does it also get assigned a barcode that tracks the item?
Yes, at that time they were using the iLead system, so it got an iLeads number, inventory number also.
Okay. Now I'm going to go back. We went down a tangent there, but on the 19th, did you also collect a soap bottle from the kitchen, PM 20?
Yes.
A sunflower seed, PM 21?
Yes.
The black floor mirror we've heard talked about, PM 23?
Correct.
Some red material on the pillar, PM 24?
Yes.
Some water bottles, PM 25 that we've seen on the tables?
Yes.
Excuse me. A jug, a mason jar jug, PM 26.
Yes.
That sounds right. And again, these are ultimately, lots of these items are collected. Is it your role to determine what is of evidentiary value or not as the case moves forward? Or at this point that we're talking about, are you focused on let's collect what we can? Is that a bad question?
Yeah, we're not deciding, we're not giving things a value at that point. We're taking things that we think can be processed for evidence later. So as a crime scene person, as a detective, we're working together to kind of decide, what we're taking or not, but we're not assigning a value to it.
And then also, was that blue jean jacket taken?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to move, we're sticking on to the 19th in the evening hours of the 19th, but I'm going to move to swabs that were done.
Okay.
Okay. So we went through a whole bunch of things that were taken, and we've kind of jumbled it chronologically, but while you're there that night, before you take things away from the home and take them to the evidence and take them to the impound, are some things within the home swabbed?
Yes, they are.
And we talked about how swabs are done, but I'm just going to ask you about some of the swabs that you were around for. Was the vehicle passenger door handle, both the interior and exterior, swabbed?
Yes, it was.
Was that area that we talked about, that was Castlemeyer, that pool edge, was that swabbed?
Yes.
And that's PM 14 we saw a picture of previously, but the area that we talked about was that edge of the pool?
Yes.
Okay. Was the 2 water bottles that we just talked about, were those swabbed?
Yes, they were.
The kitchen faucet?
Yes.
The guest bathroom handles A, B, C, and D?
Yes.
Okay. The laundry room door handle, interior and exterior side?
Yes.
Laundry room handle A?
Yes.
Laundry room handle B?
Yes.
Okay. And we've seen the laundry room handles labeled A, B, and I think we had a few, A, B, C, and then there were 2 smaller ones. But I want to focus you for a second. Laundry room handle B is swabbed. This is the evening of the 19th.
Yes.
And was it crime scene specialist Alexic that was doing the physical swabbing?
Yes, she was.
Okay. And so at the point, we'll get through a bunch of other swabs that were taken, but I'm breaking here for a second. Laundry room handle B swab. At the point that that's taken, that is, you follow the same procedure where you do the thing and you put it in the envelope,
Yes.
and then it goes into an evidence bag.
Goes into a smaller evidence envelope.
Is that like a brown looking envelope thing?
Yes.
Okay. And so is each handle swab, do you do that for each handle individually? Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yes. Each area would be packaged separately.
So after you swab laundry room handle B, the 2 swabs go in a bag, and then is that sealed? Or what do you do?
It wouldn't be sealed on scene because when we transport it back, it has to be placed in the dryer.
Gotcha. So the swabs are put back, the little cap is put on, they're put back in the envelope? Or
Yeah.
the packaging?
Correct.
Then they put in the envelope?
Yes.
And then once you get back, you take the swabs out and put them in the dryer?
Yes.
You unpack it, you uncap them to dry?
Yes, slightly.
Okay. Do you take precautions when you're putting them into the dryer not to sort of be touching the swab heads?
Yes. Yeah, you're wearing the same PPE that you are when you are collecting. So you're wearing gloves, you're wearing a mask.
So now continuing through the swabs that were done, the laundry room handles C, D, E, with the, we'll start with C, the one of the cabinet handles, was that swabbed?
Yes.
D, the front of the washing machine essentially, was that swabbed?
Yes.
E, front of the dryer.
Yes.
Okay. And again, I'm just kind of leading you for purposes of getting through these. In the master bedroom, was the dresser handles A, B, C,
Yes.
D, E, F,
Yes.
G?
Yes.
Okay. H.
Yes.
Keep going. I'm just gonna give me a second. I'm just gonna say a whole bunch, but I'm gonna try to go slow for the court reporter. So in the master bedroom was handles I, J, K, L, M. Were those swabbed?
Yes, they were.
Handles N and O swabbed.
Yes.
Okay. And again, this is the night of the 19th that all
Yes.
this is done?
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to move us to the following day, February 20th. So now we're at Friday, okay? Do you go back to the house that day?
Yes.
Well, what time do you leave the house the night before? Do you remember? Is it kind of a regular shift for you?
Yeah, I believe we left the house around 10 o'clock that night.
So not quite the 2 a.m. of the night before?
No, because detectives and the other CSS had been working all day. So we did what we needed to, got to a closing point, and then we left the scene.
Okay, and that's when you take everything back to the lab that you talked about?
Yes.
Okay. So then you go back on the 20th. Around when do you go back on the 20th?
A little bit before 6 o'clock.
Again, when your shift starts?
Yes.
And I neglected to ask you this the prior day, but are you coming straight from the office to the Allison Feldman's home?
Yes, I am.
The same thing on the 19th?
Yes.
Kind of, were you under the impression when you went home the night before, okay, I'm going to go back to the scene tomorrow. That's my assignment for the day.
Yes.
Okay. So now on the 20th, can you tell us about what happens, what you're involved in that day?
So on the 20th, again, I caught up with any kind of documentation that I needed to. By that point, we kind of had everything already marked. So I already had it all documented. At this point, I assisted more with processing and collecting items of evidence.
Okay. On the 20th, is this when the Blue Star is done that we've heard about?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll get to what that is with another witness, but are you present for that whole process?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You mentioned there was some more processing of the scene itself on the 20th. I'll call it processing, but some more swabs taken.
Yes.
And did you follow the same procedures and policies that we've talked about so far when these swabs were taken?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So now I'm going to go through a bunch of the swabs that you took or that were taken on the 20th, okay?
Okay.
So were the laundry room light switch, was that swabbed?
Yes.
Was the switch on the kitchen also swabbed? The one that's sort of just east of the laundry room door?
Yes.
Okay, trying to orient myself. Was the kitchen light switch, two switches that were on the southeast corner of that same kitchen, were those also swabbed?
Yes.
Were kitchen light switches on the southwest corner of the kitchen swabbed, two of them?
Yes.
Was the light switch, we'll call it sort of in that dining room in the northeast corner of the room by the sliding door, was that swabbed?
Yes.
Was the dining room light switch that's found on that west pillar swabbed?
Yes.
Was the light switch located, we'll call it in the foyer area, was that the remaining light switch, two of them there, was that swabbed?
Yes.
Was that a collection of 3 switches, one of which had already been removed? Does that sound familiar? Or no?
Correct.
Okay. So the two remaining switches, we've seen a picture of a light switch with one missing, but the two remaining were swabbed at this point.
Correct.
And now we're talking again about the 20th.
Yes.
Was the hall light switch swabbed in the southeast corner of the hall?
Yes.
Was the hall light switch swabbed that's in the center, sort of more of the north side of the hallway?
Yes.
Was the bedroom light switch in the west bedroom swabbed?
Yes.
Was the light switch in the office swabbed?
Yes, it was.
Was the light switch what we'll call the north bedroom swabbed?
Yes.
Was the light switch, first of all, one by the door in the guest bathroom swabbed?
Yes.
Was the light switch located closer to the toilet in the guest bathroom swabbed?
Yes, it was.
Was the master bedroom light switch swabbed?
Yes.
I'll start with the one by where you enter the master bedroom. That one was swabbed?
Yes.
Was there another light switch sort of, I'm trying to orient myself here, located on the north wall of that bedroom, but just east of the entryway to the door swabbed?
Yes.
We'll just say two light switches in the master bedroom were swabbed.
Yes.
That's there, right there. Okay. Was there also one located closer to that backyard door? Was there a light switch there that was swabbed?
Yes, there was.
Was there also a light switch located closer to the toilet in the master bathroom that was swabbed?
Yes.
Okay. Was the washing machine swabbed along the machine itself? Do you recall that?
I believe that was done later.
Okay.
The handles or the knobs, yes. The machine, I think, was done later.
Okay. The guest bathroom toilet and lid, was that swabbed?
Yes.
And the handle of the toilet?
Yes.
Guest bathroom seat and bowl of the toilet?
Yes.
And we talked already about this backyard, but let's go back to the backyard area. Was the sliding glass door bottom stoop area, was that swabbed?
Yes.
Okay. Was the were some of these swabs in conjunction with the individuals doing the blue star, indicating this part hasn't been swabbed, but we noticed some blue star. Can you go ahead and give us a swab here?
Yes.
Okay. And was that one of the areas, that sliding glass door stoop, was that one that was followed up because of the blue star?
Correct.
Okay. That northwest corner of the dining room, sort of the edge of the walkway there, was that swabbed as a result of potential blue star reactions?
Yes.
Was the west entry wall above the light switch swabbed as a potential blue star reaction?
Yes.
And again, we're going to get into blue star, and we'll see photos of the house with the blue star next week. So I went through a lot of these swabs and maybe moved pretty fast, but suffice it to say that even your role in the case, or in your observations of crime scene specialist Alexic, well, if you can just answer this, I don't know, I'll ask you to do math again, but can you, how many swabs are we talking here, just roughly, and just in the 2 days that you were there and observing these things taken?
Hundreds.
So there was a lot of swabs taken from this house.
Yes.
Is what I'm getting at. Okay. Now, before I'm almost done with my questions of you, but before we leave, we talked about the blue star. Was there also some areas on the couch on this day, on the 20th, that reacted to the blue star?
Yes, there was.
And what did you guys do with those areas as a result of that?
So when the blue star reacted, obviously that is photographed. During that time, I circled those areas so that we could see them with the lights back on. And then I took cuttings of the couch of those areas. So instead of just swabbing, I took the actual couch pieces.
So you're involved in selecting how many areas?
There's 4.
And those couch piece things were just cut out?
Yes.
And we saw a couch piece cutting earlier from photographs on the early morning of the 19th labeled R. Is that a different couch piece cutting than what I'm asking you about now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. How did you, what were these couch pieces designated? Were they 1, 2, 3, 4?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And what do you do once you cut out the pieces of couch?
So they were collected in packaging, taken back to the office, and because the Blue Star is a liquid, they get wet. So I placed them in our drying cabinet and let them dry.
And were these couch areas, were they kind of labeled in some way, like 1, 2, 3, 4 on the cutting or on the couch, so that you could distinguish once you took the pieces away from the couch which one it was? Does that make sense?
Yes, they were.
Okay. Who else was with you on this evening, on the 20th?
Detectives were all on scene. Supervisor Carpenter was there. Also, CSS Jacobs was there. He was doing the photography for the Blue Star.
Was Stephanie Hans there on the 20th? Do you recall?
I believe so. I think she was also doing photography.
And who is she?
She was a crime scene specialist during that time with us.
Okay. Had you ever had contact with Ian Mitcham at any point in your life?
No.
I'm going to ask you now just a kind of one other thing that you did you were asked to do while you were still tasked as part of this case. Can you tell me, were you asked to show up somewhere on the 24th of February of 2015?
Yes, I was.
And tell me a little bit about that.
I was requested by a detective to respond to an address located near Allison's house in reference to a pair of underwear and a water bottle being found in the vicinity. Someone had picked it up and placed the water bottle in the back of her husband's truck and had actually collected the pair of underwear in a bag.
So did you, were those items ultimately collected by Scottsdale Police?
Yes, I collected them.
And did you also, were you asked as a CSS to take some photos of that area when you collected it?
Yes, I documented the scene, the truck, where they were located.
You said it was close. Does the address 3042 North 86th Street sound right?
Yes,
And is that potentially within a few blocks of Allison's home?
it is, yes.
And that's on the 24th of February 2015. Why did the police go to there? You might have mentioned this, but this is now about almost a week or so, 6 days. Why did?
Speculation.
Overruled if she knows.
Do you know why police would have been why were you asked to go to that home?
Because detectives had been requested out there since the lady had found those items of evidence and had heard about the case.
Just so we're understanding sort of the process that happens when you take swabs back and they go in this drying rack. You said you're wearing your regular PPE. What is that?
Gloves and a mask.
And when you're putting them in this rack, we had mentioned there's coming out of the package and that little cap is on them or off them at that point they come out of the package.
When they come out of the package, the cap is still on.
So you have to pop that little cap.
Yes,
Do you take care when you're putting each swab in the drying rack that swabs are not touching each other?
yes, you don't overload. The swab dryer can hold, I think, close to 30, 40 swabs, but you're not overloading them. So you're putting them in areas and then you're notating where they are. They also, the caps are never coming off. They're just being moved down a little bit so that you make sure that the swab is getting air. And they also are having tags placed on them that have the case number, the date, the person who collected it, what the swab is, and if it's wet or dry.
And is this this drying rack thing, is this a thing that's unique to the Scottsdale lab, or is this sort of this, if you know from your certifications and training, is this sort of a standard thing that is utilized in crime scene processing?
In my experience so far, Scottsdale has been the only one who has specific swab dryers for this process. Other places just have you lay the swabs out in a dryer or in a designated area so that they get airflow and have a chance to dry.
And so Scottsdale has a unique sort of or specialized racks for just drying swabs like this.
Yes.
Nothing further, Judge.
Okay. And counsel, could you approach? Ladies and gentlemen, we're close to that lunch hour. We'll go ahead and break for lunch at this time. Please remember that admonition, and we'll see you back here at 1:30. Thank you.
Please rise, Mr. Reed.
Okay, we're going to zoom.
did at Allison's house.
Finally, they got sound.
Know if all three were related at the time, correct?
Correct.
Here we go.
So I'd like to talk to you about what you did at Allison's house first, okay? Your role on the 18th started basically being the scribe.
Yes,
And I'm not trying to minimize that, because that's, you were going through the scene and documenting everything that you saw, correct?
correct.
And you wrote a 9-page report regarding everything that you saw during that first night, let's say.
Yes, and that included the other days also, but yes,
You had 8 pages of handwritten notes for the first night.
correct,
The second night, you had 2 pages of handwritten notes.
correct,
And the third night, you had another 2 pages.
correct.
And if you need to refer to any of those, there's a big giant binder in front of you, and it's exhibit number 30. And there should be a yellow sticky notes tabbed beginning on Bates 561 and going through 582.
Yes,
Do you see that there?
yes,
If you need to refer to that at any point, just let us know.
Okay.
Okay. When you were at the scene, you testified earlier that you wore gloves,
yes,
and you demonstrated with Mr. Roseberry how you took some swabs and you brought a set of gloves. They were not marked as an exhibit. So what I'm showing the states is exhibit number 577. May I approach?
You may, you have continuing permission.
Thank you. And you want to take a look at those? That's the gloves that you had on this morning when you were demonstrating stuff.
correct.
Those are not the gloves that you wore back in 2015, correct?
They are not, no.
The gloves that you wore back in 2015 are disposable,
Yes,
much like the ones there.
yes,
They're one use.
correct.
I'm going to move to admit exhibit 577.
Any objection?
No objection.
It's ordered admitting exhibit 577 into evidence.
Now, you also testified that you wore booties at the scene, correct?
Correct.
And those just go over your shoes, correct?
Yes,
And you wore a mask.
yes,
On the first night, it was necessary because of the strong chemical smell, correct?
correct.
And is it a respirator?
It is, it's not like a full gas mask looking one. It's a half mask with canisters on the side.
Okay, and you wore that because it was hard to breathe in the house.
Yes,
And you showed us earlier, the door was open and shut a number of times while you were at the house, correct?
correct.
But it was only the front door that was open. The back doors were all closed for the majority of the time that you were at the house on the first night.
Yeah, I don't recall specifically, but based on that, the printout stuff, yes,
You would agree with me that there was a strong chemical scent in that house.
yes,
And you were there on the night of the on the night of February 18th, correct?
correct.
I want to talk to you about what you did and kind of walk through that process, okay? When you got to the house, you contacted your lead crime scene and specialist. That was Mark Carpenter, correct?
Correct.
And Mark Carpenter kind of lays out to you what's gone on before you got there and what you need to do for that next period of time as your task, correct? So let's start where you start, in the garage, okay? You go into the garage, and I'm calling it a garage, but it's actually a carport, is it not?
Yeah, it's like half garage, half carport.
There's a 2-car garage door that's electric that goes over the front of it facing Monterey Way, correct?
The normal like roll-up garage door is on the street side. On the other side, it's open. There's a small little door, gate style thing that is open to the backyard.
And in that, it's like a half, like waist level, right?
I think it was a little bit higher than that, but you could definitely see over it.
And there's like a little latch like you'd have for a regular gate,
Yes.
correct? And inside, it's being used as storage for boxes.
Yes, there was storage stuff.
And there's an Explorer, a white Explorer in the garage when you get there.
Silver.
Silver, I'm sorry. And on the one side of the garage, there's a door with a doorknob, correct? It's like a storage room.
Yeah, there were 2 storage rooms.
And it has a doorknob. correct?
I believe so.
And then there's like this little, I don't know what you call it, but like a latch lever that has a little hole in it, and then there's a lock that comes through, correct?
Yes,
And you looked inside there.
yes,
In that storage area, there were more boxes
correct.
and some household supplies.
Yes,
And you documented that in your 9 pages of typewritten report.
yes,
And you also saw inside the storage area, there were 2-gallon jugs, correct?
yes,
One was chlorinizer
correct.
and one was muriatic acid.
Yes.
And they were about a quarter full, correct?
Yeah, and I don't specifically remember, but yeah, they weren't brand new and they weren't empty.
And inside the garage was that Explorer, and you looked at that, correct?
Yes,
And you documented that there was some spray on the right side of the car, correct?
the front passenger door handle.
And you then moved on, correct?
Yes,
You went to the backyard.
correct.
You looked at the gates,
Yes,
and you documented what you saw in the backyard.
correct.
And in the backyard, you saw those sunflower seeds, correct?
Yes,
And we talked about those this morning I'm going to put this up here again. I'm showing what's marked as exhibit number 490. It's already been admitted. Just a sec here. Photo marker number 4, that's sunflower seed that you saw on the pool deck, correct?
correct.
Showing you what's marked as exhibit number 487. Exhibit. Another sunflower seed.
Correct.
And number 488, just a close-up of that sunflower seed.
Yes,
And you testified earlier those were collected, correct?
yes, they were.
You documented that there were some coolers,
Yes,
and those were on the patio, correct?
correct.
And there was also some pool toys.
Yes, there was.
I'm showing you what's been marked as 489. That's also been admitted. Can you see those pool toys there?
Kind of.
See if I can zoom in on that. And I say pool toys, they're like floaties, correct?
Correct.
Then you went inside the house. I'm
Yeah.
skipping a little bit of stuff that you did because it's 9 pages, and but I want to go through that. I want to talk about the kitchen first. You went into the kitchen, and before I get there, when you're there on that first night, this scene is, I think you call it pristine, meaning that nobody's touched anything. It is as the detectives and law enforcement found it. Is that correct?
Correct.
And when you're walking around doing this documentation of the scene, you want to get it in as pristine condition as it was when they found it, correct?
Correct.
Because after you do this first run around, I shouldn't say run around, after you do this first walk through and document the scene, things are going to get processed and collected, correct?
Yes.
So the goal is to make sure that everything was as it was and it's documented.
Correct. And if it's changed, that I'm documenting that.
So next I want to show you what's been marked as exhibit number 227. That's been admitted as well. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
Okay, and that's the kitchen looking in from the dining room, correct?
Yes, it is.
And you can see all the way to what you talked about was the garage door in the very back. Is that correct?
Correct.
And in the kitchen, all the cabinets were closed, correct?
Correct.
There was a white trash bag on the floor in the back, correct?
Yes.
And there's 2 pairs of shoes in the kitchen. Can you see those?
There's a pair of shoes. Yes.
There's also a pair of like slippers that are in the dining room that are not included in this picture.
Correct, by the sliding door.
Yeah. Can you look? Now, you obviously did not take these photographs, right?
I did not.
You're walking kind of hand in hand, not literally, but figuratively, with another crime scene specialist whose job is to take the photographs.
Correct.
And want to zoom in, sorry. Back, can you see the laundry room from there?
Yes.
Can you see on top of one of the laundry machines a basket?
Yes.
And that was there, and you documented that on your first walkthrough, correct?
I believe so, yes.
If you need to look at your report, go ahead. It's on page 565 if you need. 5 of 9. Top, second line from the bottom, or from the top, excuse me. Fourth line from the top, sorry.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yes.
And you did document that there was a laundry basket with bags and clothing on top of the dryer, is that correct?
Correct.
There was also some laundry detergent, which I think you can see in there on top of that dryer. Is that a focus? Let me see if I can focus that. Do you see it there? It's right next to it.
I don't, but
In your report, you documented it though, correct?
correct.
And when you're walking through, I mean, I'm pointing you toward the typewritten report, but you're handwriting these things, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. One second here. I want to talk to you about, now we're in the house still, moving towards, away from the kitchen, away from the laundry room. I want to go to the front door. You talked to us about the light switch and you collecting all the light switches, correct?
I swabbed them.
On the first day, you note that the light switch has red smears on the light switch by the front door, is that correct?
Correct.
And on the wall above and below it as well.
Correct.
And on the couch, now moving into the living room, there was a laptop, correct?
Yes.
And that laptop also had a remote control on top of it.
Correct.
And there was a cord that kind of draped over the back of the couch, a white cord. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And it was an extension cord of sort.
I believe so, yes.
And plugged into that extension cord was like a cube charger connected to another cord, correct?
I believe so.
And the TV was on,
Yes.
and it was the mute icon showing in the screen.
Correct.
Let me go back to the laundry room. All the cabinets were closed,
Yes.
and the laundry basket, you looked at that had clothes in it as well, correct?
Yes.
And let me talk to you about moving away from the living room. Let me go into the dining room, okay? You noted broken glass near the walls.
Yes.
On the wall behind the dining room table, there was some shards of glass.
Yes.
And on the opposite wall by the breakfast bar, there was also a piece of glass, correct?
Yes, there was.
There was a Swiffer mop leaning up against the table.
Yes, there was.
And there was this red kind of smear along the floor, is that correct?
Correct.
You went into the bedroom,
Yes.
I should say bedrooms,
Correct.
and you documented what you saw there.
Yes.
In the spare bedroom, there was an iPad, correct?
Yes.
And it was laying on the floor. I'm going to show
Yes.
you what's marked as Exhibit 510. It's already admitted. Can you see that?
Yes.
There we go. And right next to that, there was a laptop, correct?
Correct.
And that's not the same laptop that was on the couch.
It is not.
And then you went to the other bedrooms and documented what you saw in there.
Yes.
In the office, there were papers on a wire shelf, correct?
Correct.
And in the master bedroom, you saw that you already talked to us about the dresser and the nightstands, correct?
Yes.
And the bed. And then, is that yes?
Yes.
And then there was the jean jacket that was on the bed.
Correct.
And there was some stuff laid across the end of the bed, some outfits
Yes,
or
there was.
clothes.
Yes, there was.
And then in the guest bedroom, you went in there as well.
Yes.
And that had kind of like a red, rusty color bedding on it.
Correct.
Now, for that night, you were working with Kat Palma
Yes.
and Stephanie Hans.
Correct.
And Palma was taking the photos, correct?
She took the photos until CSS Alexic.
That was
Took
my
over.
next question. And Stephanie Hans, her job was different than yours. She was working with a Faro, is that right?
Yes.
At some point you leave that evening or that morning, correct?
Correct.
And we already talked to you about, you come back that later that day for your next shift on the 19th.
Yes.
And you kind of do the same thing. You get to the scene or the house and you talk to Mark Carpenter again.
Yes, I do.
And he's your lead.
Correct.
And he tells you, keep documenting the scene. Here's what we've done since you left, correct?
Yes.
And on this night, yeah, your job is not only to document the scene, but to work with Kristen Olesic to collect and swab some items, correct?
Yes.
And others are taking photographs, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Now, I want to talk to you about your background, because I'm not sure that we did that on Monday. It's been a while ago. Why don't you just tell us what your education is?
So I have a bachelor's in criminal justice. I also took some certificate programs in fingerprinting, crime scene photography, and evidence processing. I've worked for now 3 different departments. I worked from Scottsdale from 2006 to 2021. I moved to Dallas and worked for the Dallas Police Department and worked as a crime scene supervisor and manager there until the beginning of this year. And then now I am a crime scene specialist with the Salt River PD.
And Mr. Kirchler, I just want to make sure if you just pull your notes out of the, just to
Oh,
make
I'm
sure we
sorry.
can't see anything. Okay. And your pad as well. Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So you've been doing this for quite some time,
Yeah, it'll be 20 years next year.
and you're multidisciplinary in crime scene investigation, correct?
Yes.
So you can take photographs, correct?
Yes.
You can take, collect evidence,
Yes.
and that means you can swab stuff.
Yes.
That means that you can package stuff.
Yes.
That means that you're trained in doing all of these things.
Correct.
And when you're walking around, you're quite observant to everything that you need to document, correct?
Correct.
And part of that is because other people have to use what you're documenting, correct?
Yes.
And your report shared with detectives,
Yes.
forensic scientists,
Yes.
other crime scene specialists,
Yes.
basically anybody who is involved in the case, correct?
Correct.
And it even goes to the attorneys
Yes.
on both sides. So you want to be as accurate as you can.
Correct.
And that's why you're as detailed as you are.
Yes.
And while we have pictures, it's not really 1,000 words, is it?
No.
So I want to talk to you about the collection of evidence with the swab. We've talked about it over and over, but I did want to ask you a couple questions, okay?
Okay.
I'm looking for the swab, just in 1 minute. You showed us exhibit number 517, which was a unused swab at the time.
Yes.
You opened it up
Yes.
and you took out the swab and you called it something and I didn't hear what it was called. It began with an I think.
Oh, Integra swab.
Integra swab? What's Integra?
I think that was at one point a brand, or that's the type because it has the cap.
And it's basically a Q-tip. I'm showing you it's been marked as exhibit 517. And would you agree it's basically a really long Q-tip with a wooden handle?
Yes.
And when you described how you use it, you said that you take it out of the package first, correct?
Correct.
And then you hold the handle gloves, correct?
Yes.
And you slide down the plastic cover.
Correct.
And you take that swab. If it's a dry area, you wet it, correct?
Yes.
And you wet it in what?
Using deionized water, DI water.
What is that?
Water that we had little bottles. It comes from a specific source. It's cleaned of impurities.
And you dip that swab into that water, correct?
No, you use a dropper.
Okay. And you wet the cotton end of the swab, correct?
Yes.
And the goal there is on a dry area to pick up as much material as you can, correct?
Correct.
And so you demonstrated earlier that you twist the swab so that it goes around, you said saturates the cotton, is that correct?
Correct.
And you put pressure on the swab.
Yes.
You're trying to get as much material from that area as you can.
Yes.
And then you take that swab and then you push the plastic cover over it again.
Yes.
Now, there's two swabs in here. I don't know if this was intentional, but sometimes you do a dry swab as well.
Correct.
And the purpose for that is to, if there's a wet area, correct?
Correct.
Or you're trying to get it just in a different manner, correct?
Correct.
The purpose still is the same, to obtain as much material from that area as you can.
Yes.
You talked about the pressure that it's enough that you don't break it, but it's possible that you're breaking it.
Yes. There will be times if you get a little overzealous that you break the stick.
And when you're taking, let's just talk for a second about a stain. When you're trying to get the material of a stain, you're trying to get all of it, right?
Yes. If I'm collecting it, yes, I want to take the whole stain.
Because you don't know if there's any biological material under there.
Correct.
And the biological material might be in the very tippy top layer, correct?
Correct.
It might be within the stain.
Correct.
It might be below the stain.
Correct.
That's not your job to determine. Your job is to get as much material as you can, correct?
Correct. Correct.
And when you twist that cotton swab, your goal is to make sure that the whole swab has material on it, correct?
Yes.
And that is because when it's analyzed, there's a cutting of that swab, correct?
Correct.
And literally, they take almost like a scissors, cut like a little piece of it off, correct?
Yes, they do.
So you want to have as much biological material as you can, if there is any.
Correct.
I want to talk to you about what you did on the 20th.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rickershaw, I can just see some of your writing. I just want to make sure that's not underneath Elmo. Thank you.
Sorry. I think I'm done with this, so let me. That solves that. So you returned to the house on the 20th, correct?
Yes.
And that's the last time you're at that house, correct?
Correct.
And same process, you return just before 6, correct?
Yes.
You talk to lead Mark Carpenter,
Yes.
and he tells you what they have done the day preceding
Correct.
and what your job is that evening.
Correct.
And on that night, you swabbed light switches. That
Yes.
was one of them.
Yes, I did.
And you documented those, correct?
Yes.
And those are basically page 8 of 9 of your report, correct?
I believe so.
Page 568.
Yes.
And Carpenter was doing Blue Star, correct?
We did do Blue Star on that day, but not at the same time.
And your job from that, or stemming from that, was any place there was a reaction, they had you swabbed. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I think Mr. Roseberry said it was 4 places, correct?
4 places on the couch, and then looks like 6 places within the house.
And you documented that on page 568, correct?
Correct.
Page 8 of 9. You put little stars next to the items that you swabbed because of that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I want to talk to you briefly about the dryer process. So as I understand it, you collect all the swab, or somebody collects all the swabs. They're brought back to the crime scene specialist lab, correct?
Yes,
And I put that in bunny quotes, but it's not, I'm not trying to be demeaning or anything like that, but it's different than the Scottsdale crime lab,
for sure.
correct?
Yeah, for sure.
And so you have a place that's your own.
Yes,
And in that place, you have this unique dryer.
there's several, but I think there's 5 or 6 of them.
And I'm saying unique because you said that you were one of the only police departments that you knew of that had a dryer, correct?
Correct.
Normally what happens is people crime scene specialists bring swabs back to their department and they have a place for them, correct?
Correct.
And they let them basically air dry.
Correct.
Your laboratory actually has a mechanical dryer, correct?
Yes.
And it blows air.
Yes.
And it circulates the air amongst the swabs to dry them, correct?
Doesn't circulate, it shoots it straight through.
So it's like a hair dryer.
Yes.
Not that I have one. So it speeds up the process to dry these swabs, correct?
Yes, it does.
And you use the dryer for the wet swabs, correct?
We put both swabs in there so they're together.
You use catch paper. What's that?
Catch paper is anytime you use a drying cabinet, you're putting basically just blank white construction paper on the bottom of anything that you're using. So the different shelves or on the bottom of the drying cabinet itself, and it's catching anything potentially evidence wise that is coming off of your evidence that is drying. So fibers, hairs, dripping blood, that kind of stuff.
And I want to go back to the Blue Star parts. You were directed not by Mark Carpenter, but Detective Heinzelman was there, and he was the one that was saying, maybe we should go get reaction, see, swap these parts where there was a reaction.
Okie dokie, hold on. I'm getting it.
This
Here we
witness,
go. Oh, we're waiting for the next witness.
may this witness be excused subject to recall.
Yes, sir.
And you may step down, ma'am.
We have our next witness here. Can I have about 5 minutes to get situated?
Sure.
Hi, honey.
Sure, absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, you may recall I talked to you about this in the preliminary instructions, but sometimes you might submit questions and I may not ask the questions. Don't feel bad about that. There may be legal reasons, or this may not be the appropriate witness to ask those questions to. So that's the reason why sometimes we don't ask questions that are submitted. So with that, let's take a quick 5-minute break. We will return shortly, and please remember that admonition.
Yes, so the jury had asked some questions. They were not able to ask those questions of the witness because they were not proper. Next witness.
And I'll have you take a seat up here in the witness box. Thank you. And you may proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes.
My name is Stephanie Hans. The last name is Hontz, and I was a crime scene specialist for Scottsdale Police Department. I think we're going to need you to pull that microphone a little
I'm
bit
sorry.
closer to you.
Sorry. Is that
Especially
better?
if you're turning that way. Yes,
Okay.
you want to make sure everyone can hear you.
Okay.
So you mentioned that you used to be a crime scene specialist with the Scottsdale Police Department. Are you currently working?
I am not.
Okay. Stay-at-home mom?
Yes, I am.
All right. But you mentioned that you previously worked for Scottsdale Police Department.
Yes. In December of 2008, I started with the department in the property and evidence section. And in September of 2009, I transferred over to the crime scene section.
Can you tell us about your educational background?
Yes, I have an associate's degree in forensic science through Scottsdale Community College, and I have a certificate in crime scene processing, as well as a 16-week on-the-job training when I was hired with Scottsdale Police Department. And I received a crime scene analyst certification through the International Association of Identification when I was with the department.
And then what time did you leave Scottsdale Police Department?
I left in February of 2021.
So from 2009 to 2021, you were working as a crime scene specialist.
Correct.
You obviously know why you are here today. Back on February 18th of 2015, were you asked to respond to 8526 East Monterey Way in Scottsdale at approximately 9:20 p.m.?
Yes, I was.
And were you responding to assist with the processing of a crime scene?
Yes, I was.
Prior to your arrival at this address, were you aware of the type of scene you were going to?
I was aware of the type of scene, but I wasn't given any information about it.
Do you recall where you were? Do you recall where you were when you received the call?
Yes, I was at home when I received the call to come into work.
When you received the call before you went out to 8526 East Monterey Way, did you stop somewhere before you actually went to the scene?
Yes, our procedures were to go to the station to get dressed, to get our equipment in a vehicle before we went to the scene.
So you were at home, you then go to the office to get all the things that you're going to need to do your job, and then at that point you go out to 8526 East Monterey.
Correct.
Now, once you got to that location, prior to entering the home, did you put on any protective equipment?
Yes, I put on gloves, booties, and a mask.
Gloves,
Just so we know,
beauty,
we're talking about
and
the
a
same thing. I'm gonna
mask.
show you what's already been admitted as Exhibit 45. Oh. Do you recognize the home in that photograph?
Yes, I do.
And is that the home that you responded to back on February 18th of 2015?
Yes, it is.
While you were at the home, is it fair to say you went out a couple different days?
Yes, I was there a couple days.
And we'll cover those different things. Did you have time to spend time in the front of the home, inside the home, and as well in the backyard?
Yes, I was.
I'm showing you what's been already admitted as Exhibit 53. Do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph?
Yes, I do.
Is that the backyard of the same residence?
Yes, it is.
So you get to 8526 East Monterey, and I think you arrive around 9:20 p.m. Does that sound about right?
Yes, it does.
So when you get there, what is the very first thing that you do?
Upon my arrival, I contacted CSS McKenna and asked what I could do to help her with the scene.
Now, is CSS McKenna, now known as CSS or former CSS for Scottsdale, Davis?
Yes,
Okay, just so the jury is clear, and we just heard her testify. So that's who you spoke to when you arrived.
correct.
Other than your boss, Mark Carpenter, who we've heard about, was she kind of the lead crime scene specialist that everybody was kind of checking in with?
Yes, and specifically that night.
So you spoke to CSS McKenna, and then what did you do at that point?
She advised me I would be in charge of doing the Faro scanner throughout the interior house.
Before we get to the Faro scanning, when you arrived at the home, did you notice anything particular about the smell?
There was a strong chemical smell throughout the.
In response to that smell, did you have to use any additional masks or equipment in order to kind of deal with that?
We put on masks when we went inside the home because of the chemical smell.
So you mentioned that you were asked to do the Faro scanning. We heard a little bit from crime scene specialist Palma, who kind of talked a little bit about it because she mentioned there were targets on the wall for Faro scanning, but beyond that, we really didn't get a description of really what it is and its purpose. Could you let the jury know about that?
Yes, the Faro scanner was used on the scene to document every room, which those scans could be used as diagrams for later on or to do measuring points between two items. And the targets on the wall were, for that specific Faro scanner, you had to have 3 targets in one scan to be able to connect the rooms together, which was the purpose of this targets on the wall.
Now you go inside and you're going to do the Faro scanning. Is this done prior to anyone touching and moving anything?
Should
Yes,
be.
overall photos could be done before the Faro scanner was done, but the scanner is used to document the scene as is before anything is moved or touched.
So basically, when people go to the scene, we've heard that it is your focus as CSS is to make sure that things are done when the scene is as it is or in its pristine condition. So are the first 2 steps of doing that, taking overall photos, and then if there's a decision to do Faro scanning, do those occur basically as the first 2 steps?
Yes, they are.
You mentioned that you did the Faro scanning of the interior of the residence. Was somebody responsible for doing the Faro scanning of the exterior of the residence?
Yes, somebody else took care of the exterior residence because light is needed for the scans to be clear. And since it was dark, it was nighttime, they were done during the day for the exterior scans.
So is it the same type of procedure for outside, meaning that overalls would have been done of the outside, Pharaoh's scanning would have been done of the outside before anything outside was touched or processed?
Yes, it would have.
Do you recall who actually did the outside Pharaoh scanning?
I believe CSS Jacobs did the exterior.
When you're moving about the house and doing the Pharaoh scanning, or anything else for that matter, are you creating notes and documenting every step of what you're doing?
Yes, when whoever is in charge of doing the Pharaoh scanner makes a diagram of the house, the layout of the house, and you mark where you're putting the targets and where you are doing each scan.
Other than doing the Pharaoh scanning on the evening of February 18th, 2015, did you have any other involvement at the scene that night?
No, I did not.
And then upon your completion of the Pharaoh scanning, did you then author a lab report memorializing what you had done?
Yes, I did.
Now, I established with you a little bit earlier that you responded to this location on a few different occasions to help process the scene. Fair?
Yes, I did.
Was the next time you were asked to respond on February 20th of 2015?
Yes, it was.
Same question I'm going to ask you. Before you went in and had any involvement with the scene, did you put on protective equipment?
Yes, that day it was booties, a protective suit, and gloves.
When you arrived on the scene that particular day, did you then, like you had done on February 18th, check in with somebody to get some direction as to what you were going to be doing that day?
Yes, I did.
And who was that?
It was CSS Carpenter.
Were you asked to do multiple things while you were working on February 20th?
Yes, I was.
Okay, I'm going to start with what you were first asked to do. Did that involve doing some work in the alley?
Yes, it did.
Tell us about that.
I was asked by CSS Carpenter to go in the alley to document some patterns that were in the dirt that they wanted documented as shoe imprints.
When you arrived to do the collection in the alley, did you notice anything about whether the scene was secured with tape? What was going on in the alley?
Yes, the alley was secured with police tape to block it off.
So the only people who were allowed to enter and or exit, to your understanding, were those employed by Scottsdale Police Department?
Correct.
And sorry, Ms. Otis, I can see a little bit of your notes also. I just want to make sure. Sorry. Thank you.
It's a little squishy up here. Thank you, Judge. Now, was the only thing that you were asked to do when you went into the alley, did that just involve you taking photographs?
Yes, it did.
No collection of anything?
No collection.
I believe that the defense is stipulating to the following photos, which are 406, 407, 408, 409, 410, 411, 412, 413, 414, and 415.
And just confirming no objections.
No objection.
It's ordered admitting exhibits 406 through 415 into evidence.
Ms. Hans, I'm going to put on what's been marked or admitted at this point too as exhibit 406. We've heard about these placards. Can you just tell us a little bit about the date and the time?
Yes, the date and the time are for when we arrive on scene, and right before we start our photographs, we document the case number, the time and date that we are there.
So when you at a particular scene are taking numerous sets of photographs of various things, are we able to tell from your placards the order in which you've done that based on the date and timestamps?
Yes, it is.
So based on when you arrived on February 20th, we can tell from the timestamp that this was the first task that you had that day?
Yes, it was.
I'm putting exhibit 407 on. You're speaking of, I looked when you were asked possible impressions.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the double A and double B? And I'll have a closer picture, but what can you tell us about those placards?
Those placards are meant to mark where the impressions were, so we know from a far away distance what we're looking at, so we can get closer but identify where they were to start.
I'm now putting 408. Is that a more zoomed in version of those two placards?
Yes, it is.
And I believe here's an even more zoomed in photo in 409.
Yes, it is.
And can you explain what the purpose is of the different vantage points?
The purpose of the far away, medium, and close up is just to give us an idea of where we are and what we're looking at. So we have orientation of everything, but also different lighting of the impression to get better detail.
And the AA and the AB placards, are you able to tell from this particular photo what they're denoting?
Those are just marking that there were two separate areas that we were documenting for shoe impressions.
I'm now going to show you Exhibit 410. Is that a different part of that same alley?
Yes, it is.
And can you explain what we're looking at in this photo in terms of direction?
In terms of direction, we're looking further down in the alleyway and just along the edge of the back wall to the residence.
So there appear to be in the middle of the photo 410, 2 additional placards. Are those other impressions that were noted that you were asked to photograph?
Yes.
Or I guess I should say possible impressions. In Exhibit 411, are those close up, or I should say more zoomed in photographs of those 2 placards?
Yes, they are.
Now, in looking at Exhibit 409, the AA and the AB, I think to probably everybody in this room except you, we may not see anything. So I'm going to now put up Exhibit 412, and I'm going to ask you about this. First of all, can you, that might have made it worse. Can you see that little white piece of paper in the upper corner of the photograph?
Yes, I can.
What is that?
That is a marker that we use on in our photographs, I should say. And that is so we know what the item is, the case number, what the placard number is, and the directionality. We can show which way is north or up.
Okay, and if you can see on that little white piece of paper, I asked you about placards AA and then A and B. Do you see what this is representing in this particular photo?
Yes, this is PMAA.
Okay. And you have that ruler around a particular area, and it looks like from this photo, you can kind of see something in the center. Is that what you are capturing?
Yes, it was.
I'm now going to put photo 413 up there. What is the difference between 412 and 413?
The difference is the item number. This is showing PMAB.
So that is the second impression that you were asked to document in that area by that, what is that thing called? It was like a
Utility type cover?
Yes.
Yes, it was. This was the
Okay.
second one.
Now I had put up again in Exhibit 411, A, C, and AD. After you placed the placards, did you then employ the same procedure by bringing out the ruler and doing a different type of capture of those possible impressions?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you Exhibit 414. Which one of the impressions are we looking at in this photo?
This is PMAC.
And then in 415, it looks like the AD is also captured in this, but is this the same type of capture of the impression?
Yes, it is.
Now, after you completed your work in the alley, did that essentially complete your work in the alley?
Yes, it did.
You weren't asked to photograph anything but those 2 areas that we just saw.
Correct.
After the work in the alley, were you then asked to photograph a vehicle that was parked in the driveway of 8526 East Monterey Way?
Yes, I was.
What type of vehicle was that?
I would have to refer to the notes.
Sure. I believe your report is up there. If that would help refresh your recollection. Okay. May I just try to assist the witness? for
You may.
the ease of time here?
Do we know what page? What was it? Do we know the bottom? 507. Oh, here we go.
What do y'all think so far of this testimony? How are y'all doing?
Yes, that is. Thank you.
And remind me the exhibit number that this is?
Can you look on the cover?
30?
Exhibit 30, and I believe she's referencing between Bates 524 and 530. 530.
Thank you.
Okay, and to answer the question, based on my report, I was photographing a 2009 BMW 335i that was a two-door vehicle.
Okay, now. I'm going to put up, I believe the defense is also willing to stipulate to exhibits 300, 301, and 302.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
It's ordered admitting exhibit 300 through 302 into evidence.
I'm going to put up what's been admitted as exhibit 300, and we're seeing this placard photo again. If you look at the time, does that denote that this would have been kind of your second task on February 20th, 2015?
Yes, it does.
So this looks to be about 2:35 p.m.
Correct.
when you began these photos? Exhibit 301, do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize that to be?
That was the vehicle in the driveway of the residence that I photographed.
I want to ask you, when you photographed the vehicle, did you photograph both the interior and the exterior?
Yes, I did.
And we saw in that photo that the vehicle was still confined within the crime scene tape. Was that how it appeared when you were asked to photograph?
Yes, it was.
Did you have to get into the car to actually photograph the exterior or the interior, or were you able to do that without disturbing anything in the car?
I was able to do it without getting in or disturbing the vehicle.
On this particular day, were you asked to do anything other than simply photograph the car?
No, I was not.
Now, there's a few things in your report that I believe you mentioned seeing in the car, and I just want to cover a couple of those things with you. I'm showing exhibit 302. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
And what do you remember that to be?
Referring back to my report, that there was dry cleaning on the rear seat and water bottles and what appeared to be a tan sweater.
And then I'm going to show you what's already been admitted into evidence as exhibit 62. Did you also notice that and photograph that?
Yes, I did.
And what is depicted in that photo?
It is a drink container from Paradise Bakery that has contents in the bottom of it.
And again, you weren't asked to collect anything from the vehicle, is that fair?
Correct, just document.
So you do the work in the alley, then you were asked to take photos of the car. And then finally, on the same day, were you then asked to take additional photos and then collect additional swabs from within the house?
Yes, I was.
Now we heard, as I mentioned earlier, from CSS Bree Davis, and she mentioned, she told us about the swabbing process and the use of, she referred to them as Integra swabs. Do you typically, as you utilize swabs, refer to them at whatever time frame you're using them by the name of the brand?
Yes, as the brand changes, you may change the way that you identify the swab, but they are all the same.
So if you've referred to them or someone's referred to them as Integra swabs or Capture swabs, we're talking about essentially the same type of swab. It just might be a different brand name at the time that you're using.
Yes,
Did they typically all appear the same way?
yes, they did.
We heard about the swabbing process, so I don't want to go through that whole process with you. The only thing that I want to ask you is, as a crime scene specialist group, do you try to remain consistent in the way that you swab item surfaces, stains?
Yes, and that is part of the 16-week on-the-job training, that everybody does things in the same fashion, so the work is consistent across the board.
Now, when we heard from CSS Davis earlier, she mentioned, I think it came out on cross-examination or maybe even direct examination as well, that sometimes, despite your best efforts, when you're utilizing swabs, the sticks will break.
Correct.
What didn't get asked, and I would like to know the answer and have the jury know the answer as well, is when that type of situation happens where you're swabbing something and the stick breaks, what do you guys do?
If a stick breaks, it breaks. The swab itself, the top of the swab, is closed in a secured area. So we just put the other half of the stick separate from it, and you send that all to the lab. But if it breaks, it doesn't affect the swab or what you have swabbed it on. If you start swabbing and it breaks pretty soon, you impound that swab as well as the second one to make sure you got the entire surface you needed.
So sometimes if a stick breaks, you may not need to do another swab. You're just fine utilizing what you had done with the first swab.
Correct.
And then there may be times where you just want to make sure you were able to collect, absent the breaking of the swab, what you were intending to collect, so you may utilize another swab.
Correct.
And regardless, if anything breaks along the way, you're not just throwing it, you're packaging it with the rest of the evidence.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. And if you feel the need to have to refer to your report, as I know moving forward on this particular day, there were a lot of photographs taken as well as swabs collected. So just let us know if you need to do that for purposes of our record. After you completed your photography with the BMW, I believe you moved to the living room floor area to take some photos and collect some swabs in that sunken living room area. Do you
Yes.
recall that? I believe the defense is also stipulating to the admission of exhibits 306 to 303 to 314.
Any objection?
Oh, Your Honor.
It's ordered admitting 303 through 314 into evidence.
So I'm going to go ahead and put exhibit 306, and the jury's familiar with this photo. I think they've seen something like it before. Can you explain what your role was here as the photographer, kind of what you're asked to do?
Yes, I was asked to assist lab personnel with documenting where they were planning on needing swabs from. So this was an overview of the living room floor with areas marked of what swabs they were wanting documented and swabbed.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, some other crime scene person came in there, placed the cones, placed the little placards that we're seeing, and prepared the area for you then to go in and do the swabbing and then photography.
Yes, they were crime lab personnel.
And I know it's kind of hard to see. Essentially, are we looking at what later became documented as L5A, L5B, and then 789? I guess it's actually L5A, L5B, all the way through L18.
Yes.
Okay. What does that mean?
The L numbers were what the lab was using to indicate what they had marked for their own documentation purposes. And the numbers just indicate the different areas that needed swabbed and were documented.
So would you agree that 306 captures most of the area in its entirety?
Yes, it does.
And then as we move into exhibit 307, is that kind of zooming in on more specific areas that you were asked to swab?
Yes, it was.
And we're seeing in this photograph, and here's probably a better example in exhibit 308, there's little white stickers. In this particular photo, it's below what's labeled L11. What do those markings denote?
Those are similar to what is in the footwear photographs that were in the alley. This is for lab personnel to know what sample it is, which way is up or north, and to indicate what case it is from.
And so this is kind of another example. It's exhibit 309. And essentially, do you then document from a distance and then a little bit more zoomed in the specific areas that you are swabbing and photographing?
Yes, everything is given an overall mid and close-up range.
And you're not responsible for anything beyond this particular day, taking pictures and collecting the swabs?
Correct.
Any comparison or testing, is that done by other folks at the lab?
Yes, that's all lab personnel.
Okay, so I'm going to show you just exhibit 310. Is that another marking of L15?
Yes, it is.
Same type of situation in exhibit 311 for L12.
Yes,
And then again, we're seeing L13 in exhibit 312.
correct.
Exhibit 313, I think, is showing L10.
Correct.
And exhibit 314 showing L14.
Correct.
I want to show you photos that look a little bit different than a few of the photos that we've looked at. I'm going to start with what's been admitted as exhibit 303. I'm going to have you tell us what we're looking at and why does this photo look different than some of the other photos?
The reason it looks different is the lab used, they would have to explain this, a chemical that needed a certain type of lighting to be photographed. So I was asked to take these photographs for them, which is why it's a different color.
So when we're looking at photographs that might have a different lighting, and is that so the lab and you guys, and I guess people like us later on, are able to better see what you are swabbing and or trying to capture?
Yes, even just for lab and us personnel, just to be able to view what it is, it had to have certain lighting.
Without being trained, is it fair to say that most of us, if we walked into that scene, would have a difficult time seeing what you all are seeing?
Yes.
I'm going to show you another photo. It's exhibit 304. Same type of request by the lab.
Yes, it was.
And then exhibit 305.
Same type of photo.
Okay. And we do have people who assisted in the next steps of this that I think would be, are those the better people to explain kind of what we're looking at?
Yes, they can tell you the chemicals and what light goes with what photography, so it makes a little more sense.
Okay. Now, we heard from crime scene specialist Palma about her involvement in the case, which was taking overall photos prior to anything being done at the scene, and then coming back and taking some additional photos when there were placards put up. We've heard that the processing of this scene, is it fair to say, kind of went on a rolling basis?
Correct.
So not one person can stay there until everything is done. You guys have shifts, you require sleep, and so you kind of have to follow each other. Is that fair?
Correct.
So we mentioned that you were brought in to take some additional photographs. And let me ask you this. When you came in and documented things at various placards, were you also taking swabs of these items or just taking photos?
On which day?
On February 20th, when you're taking photos of the different areas of the house. And let me put some photos up and I'll give you an example.
She has to take a break, don't forget.
Yes. I don't know when you would like to take the break.
We can do it right now if you want to. Is this a good stopping time?
It's up to you.
So we do have to build in one more break this afternoon. Let's go ahead and take that break right now. Please remember the admonition will call you.
Able to see that there are various cabinets.
I like handling breaks about like that, y'all. Y'all, I like that break. Good break. Did you enjoy your break? Did you get to go to the bathroom? Do we need to do a hokey pokey and you shake yourself around? That's what it's all about. Everybody get up. Stretch. Okay, guys. All right. Question. What you now see is my new format, as you see it up here, but that's supposed to be over here. There we go. Save layout. This is my new format. This is what we'll be doing from here on out. We do have that banner up above when needed. We have the video or the video banner on the bottom, and so we have this. Yeah, what do y'all think? I'm glad y'all like it. So my mods are liking it. Yay! How do y'all like it? Give me thumbs up if you like this banner. Y'all, if you are members of my channel, you have special emojis that you can be using. Please use them at will. It would make me feel good to see my emojis that I worked hard and created live. Like my Heidi the Highlander. I'm getting ready to redo my thing behind me, and I will have my Highlanders up for you guys. While I'm knocking over my drink bottles, which I don't really need down here my extra bottles just in case I needs them. Everything feels crooked now that I did the stretch. Okay, everybody. So, we've done a little stretch. We are listening to the Ian trial for Ian Mitcham, who's accused of unaliving like everybody else that we watch. You know, it would be nice to get a financial case. We've had a lot of red rum coming up and down in here, y'all. No more red rum. No more red rum. Of course, everything's red rum nowadays. I love my little brush. This is what I use to get the dust off of my keys. I keep my equipment in good shape. My hair's driving me crazy. So, and here we go, back to trial.
And drawers that are documented with stickers.
Yes.
Okay. Exhibit
Angela, Discord DM. Thank you.
337 with placard 59.
Correct.
Was it your understanding that there was going to be plumbing and sink traps and things of that nature collected in this case?
Yes, it was.
Is that what your photo is reflecting in terms of in this picture?
Yes, it is.
Okay. 338, exhibit 338 is telling us we're now in the master bathroom. Is 339 reflective of that bathroom?
Yes, it is.
And we see placard 61, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. And again, is that marking the plumbing?
Yes.
We're seeing placard 60. Are you able to tell what that is?
I would have to check if that was that plumbing on the other sink.
Are you able to check that for us?
I believe that would be in who collected the report.
Okay.
What documented that?
All right, that's fine. We can come back to that at some point with some other person. Exhibit 341, is that just showing a side by side of the two cabinets?
Correct.
Okay, we're moving into the kitchen now, exhibit 342. Again, as we move through some of these photos, starting with 343, are these placards representative of the photos of the various plumbing and sink traps that at some point were collected?
Correct.
344 appears to be a zoomed in version of that same area.
Yes.
And it looks like in 345, there's placard 62. I'm going to show you a little more zoomed in photo in 346. Was that additional staining that was located?
Yes, it was.
Okay. You're now telling us with your placards that you're moving into room 347. Let me ask you a question. In some photos, we're seeing a glove. In some photos, we're not seeing a glove. Can you explain that?
Yes. When I'm holding a placard, I am just doing overalls. I'm not touching anything. So if I'm just going and photographing what was already done, marked by somebody else, I'm not touching anything. If a glove is in some photos, that may indicate something needed to be opened or altered. So we had the protective equipment on to do so.
Which I think is going to lead me into exhibit 348. Is that a closed cabinet door?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to show you now exhibit 349. Is that opened?
Yes, it is.
Since you are now having to open it to document what's inside, would that explain why you would have a glove on?
Yes, it does.
And inside that we see placard 63 and 65.
And 64, yes.
And 64, which is kind of in the corner. I think I'm going to show you a better photo of that in exhibit 350.
Yes.
Okay. You're now telling us that we're moving into the living room in exhibit 351.
Correct.
I believe later, I'm going to put up exhibit 352. There were a few additional markings that had been put down, L17 and L18. Is that you coming back to get photos of those two placards?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And then in terms of exhibit 353, is this just another example of the lab asking you to document something in a different light source?
Correct.
Okay, exhibit 354, you're now telling us we're outside in the pool area. Is that fair?
Correct.
355, you see placard 66
Yes.
from a distance. So does that acquaint us to what side of the pool we're looking at?
Yes, it does.
And then 356, a more zoomed in photo of placard 66.
Correct.
Are you able to tell, I know what's coming, but can you tell from this photograph what that placard is representing?
The placard is representing something in the water.
Okay. And 357, exhibit 357, are you able to better see that sort of in the center of the photograph?
Yes, I am.
moving into exhibit 358. Was that then retrieved from the pool
Correct.
and photographed? Who lays down that piece of paper?
I do not recall.
Okay, you're just simply taking the photo.
Correct.
And then exhibit 359, is that a more close-up photo?
Yes, it is.
And what did that appear to be to you when you were taking a photograph of that?
A clump of hair.
Okay, next batch. And I'm going to move through these quickly. These are admitted exhibits, so the jury will get to look at them more closely. So I'm just trying to give them an idea of what you've done. So we heard testimony again from CSS Bree Davis earlier that when she was in the home, she swabbed a bunch of light switches.
Correct.
Were you then asked to come in and then take photographs of all those light switches that she had swabbed?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And was that in various rooms of the house?
Yes, they were.
Okay. So we are going to move through these pretty quickly as well. Is this you telling us in terms of light switch activity that we're going to be looking at things in the laundry room?
Yes.
Okay. And that's exhibit 360, exhibit 361. Is that a far, like kind of a zoomed out photograph of light switches that are on that back wall?
Yes.
Exhibit 362, is that a close-up of those laundry room light switches that Ms. Davis had testified she'd swabbed?
Yes.
Moving into the kitchen, exhibit 363, are we then going to now look at light switches that were swabbed by her and then photographed by you in the kitchen?
Yes.
364, do you see that light switch that is kind of by the cabinets?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And exhibit 365, is that light switch?
Yes, it is.
Let me ask you this. We see things LS-1. Is it a safe guess that that is light switch?
Yes, it is.
Would the one be what that's representing in terms of the total amount of light switches in that particular room?
Yes.
So let's say 45 light switches are done. They're not going to be 1 through 45. They're going to be 1 through whatever it is in that particular room.
That would be something CSS Davis would have to answer since they labeled them.
Okay. Exhibit 366, also in the kitchen.
Yes.
And it appears that underneath that cabinet, kind of in the center, there's light switches there.
Yes.
Is that then a close-up of those in exhibit 367?
Yes, it is.
Exhibit 368, another set of light switches in the kitchen.
Yes.
And then exhibit 369, is that a close-up of those particular light switches?
Yes, it is.
In exhibit 370, you're telling us we're moving to the dining room light switches.
Correct.
Exhibit 371, in the somewhat center of the page, is that what we're looking at from a distance?
Yes, it is.
Exhibit 372, is that a close-up of that?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to ask you, I know you mentioned CSS Davis would be the better person to answer the question. Does it appear, though, as we're in the rooms, they're starting over at 1?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so does it appear that the numbers are based on the cumulative amount of light switches in that particular room?
In that section, yes, it does.
Okay. So exhibit 373, another light switch that was
Correct.
swabbed in the dining room. Exhibit 374, a close-up.
Yes.
In exhibit 375, you're telling us we're moving into that. Is when you say foyer, what are you referring to in the house?
In the front entry of the home.
Okay. And exhibit 376
Yes.
is showing that light switch to the left of the front door.
Correct.
377,
Yes.
same light switches.
Same light switches.
There is something missing.
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware, even if you weren't involved, that at some point light switches were removed?
I was not aware of that.
Okay. For another witness. Exhibit 378, is that telling us that you're moving into the north-south hall?
Yes, it is.
And then in exhibit 379, are we looking at the light switches in this particular hallway?
Yes, we are.
380, is that a close-up of that switch?
Yes, it is.
Moving into the east-west hall, exhibit 381.
Yes.
Exhibit 382, is that the light switch to the left of that door?
Yes, it is.
And then in 383, is that a close-up of that light switch?
Yes, it is.
Exhibit 384, we have the west bedroom.
Correct.
And then exhibit 385, is there a light switch to the left of that dresser?
Yes, there is.
And in exhibit 386, is that a close-up of that light switch?
Yes, it is.
Exhibit 387 is denoting we're moving into the office.
Correct.
Are we
Exhibit
gonna-
388 looks
Are we going to do this for 13 to 15 freaking light switches? Is that all we're going to do for the rest of the afternoon is light switch identification?
like a light switch to the right of the door frame.
Yes, it is.
389, is that a close-up of said switch?
Yes, it is.
Exhibit 390, are we now moving into the north bedroom?
Yes, we are.
And is exhibit 391, is there a light switch to the right of that door frame?
Yes, there are.
Does 392 represent a close-up of that same light switch?
Yes, it does.
Okay. 393, the guest bathroom.
Correct.
Exhibit 394
Yes,
appears the light switch is to the left of that door frame.
correct.
And then in exhibit 395, is that just a zoomed in version of that light switch?
Yes, it is.
There also appears to be a light switch shown in 396. Is that in that, and that's in that same bathroom?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And in 397, is this a close-up version of that light switch?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then moving into the master bedroom as reflected in exhibit 398. In exhibit 399, are we looking at a light switch that appears to be to the left of, looks like the closet?
Correct.
And 400, is that a close-up of that light switch?
Yes, it is.
Moving into our final room, exhibit 401, the master bathroom. Exhibit 402, is that a light switch that appears to be to the left of another door frame?
Yes, it is.
And is 403 a zoomed in version of that light switch?
Yes, it is.
And then exhibit 404, looks like faintly you can see a light switch to the right of the toilet.
Yes.
And then in exhibit 405, is that zoomed in?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so as Bree McKenna is swabbing away, you are snapping away,
Yes.
documenting everything that she is.
Swabbing and snapping and I almost said a bad word, y'all. I almost said a bad word. A lot of
Now, you mentioned
swabbing.
that you swabbed,
and
you mentioned
snapping.
that you took photographs. I want to ask you, in your job, what steps are being taken by you as crime scene specialists to avoid contamination between the various things that you are collecting and swabbing?
We change gloves between any item that we touch. So for one item, you put on a fresh pair of gloves, you handle that item, package it. If you are going to touch a separate item, you have to get a new pair of gloves before you do so.
So one of the things that we heard from CSS Davis is that if you're taking swabs and you're just touching the stick and you're not touching the area that's collecting the evidence, that you would not have to change gloves in between taking a different swab. Is that part of your policy?
Policy changes. What policy was at the time? We would have to check.
Okay. Is that how you did things back in 2015? Do you remember?
I don't recall.
Okay. When you're talking about touching other items of evidence, let's say, for example, I'm at the house and I'm a CSS and I am collecting this tissue box. I have a pair of gloves on. I put it in a bag. I then seal it. I then want to come over to another part of the house and I'm going to collect this box over here sitting on this desk. Would I then have to change gloves because I'm touching another physical piece of evidence?
Correct.
So as long as you are handling something where that particular piece could be utilized, whether it's going to be examined for fingerprints or DNA, you are required to change gloves.
Yes.
Or I think once the policy changed, do the bleach solution on the gloves.
Correct.
Did that something that can't come into effect a little bit later?
That was something that came into effect later after this case.
Okay. Now, you did a lot on February 20th, 2015. After you were done doing all of those things, did you then author a lab report that memorialized everything that you did?
Yes, I did.
And on February 20th, 2015, were you responsible for impounding anything on that particular day, or were you just simply taking photographs and collecting swabs?
Just collecting swabs and documenting with photographs.
Did you actually impound the swabs, though? And if you need to look to your report.
Yes, I'm going to refer to my report. Evidence collected says that all of the L swabs marked that I documented were impounded by me.
Okay. Now, from CSS Davis, we heard about a process where swabs are taken back to the crime scene specialist lab area, which is different from the actual crime lab.
Correct.
And so if any of those swabs needed to be dried, is that something that you would have done? We heard kind of about a process that you guys would do when you got back to the lab with swabs. Is that something that you did on this particular date, or do you know if those were just impounded and done, things were done at a later date?
I'll check the report. Since we were there for multiple days, things were probably impounded at a later date.
Okay. So some things, depending on who wanted to test what at what time, we heard about a temporary locker process. and then things getting moved to property. There's a chain of custody that reflects all that. Is that fair?
There is. Anytime you impound an item, it starts a chain of custody for that specific item.
And when we're talking about a chain of custody, what does that mean to you?
That means that I say I've had this item in my property since I collected it. Then I say whether it was put in a temporary locker for safekeeping until it was impounded, and then I say where it was impounded to in property. From their property can say where they put it in their building, and it lets you know anybody who checked it in and out from there.
So does a chain of custody, if I'm understanding you correctly, document every single person who has ever handled an item of evidence?
Correct.
Okay, moving into your last day at the 8526 Monterey home, did you in fact respond one more time on February 21st of 2015?
Yes.
The same way that you did on the 18th and on the 20th, did you wear protective equipment?
I would have to check the report.
Okay.
Do we know what page that is? Is that right after it? Oh, sorry. Oh, yes. Okay. And yes, we would for the third day. Yes.
Okay. And how can you tell?
I impounded a lot of items that day, so we would have had the protective clothing on to protect the items that were collected.
Okay. So let's talk about what you did on February 21st, 2015. As you had done on the prior 2 dates, on that particular date, did you check in with somebody to give you an idea of what you would be doing in the home that day?
Yes, I did.
Who was that?
That, according to my report, was again CSS Carpenter.
Okay. And you mentioned that on this particular day, you collected and later impounded various items from multiple rooms within the home.
Correct.
Now, was this a day where some of these larger items in the home, furniture and things of that nature were collected?
Yes, it was.
Can you describe for the jury what steps were taken to protect the furniture before it was hauled off?
Since we were packaging larger items, we started from the very top of every item. So a couch, we took off each cushion carefully and placed it either in paper or plastic packaging. We had large sections of plastic, large sections of paper bags that we were able to build to the size of the item that we were impounding. So we would take the item, package it as is, and then put that to be impounded. So we did that layer by layer for every item.
And then these large furniture items, how did you get them out of there?
We, with detective help, had them carry them and take them to a box truck to transport.
And when you say a box truck, like a U-Haul type of vehicle?
Like a U-Haul type vehicle, yes.
The defense has stipulated with the state to the admission of exhibits 548 through 560.
Any objection?
No objection.
It's ordered admitting 548 through 560 into evidence.
Now, on this particular day, were you working with 2 other crime scene specialists?
Yes, I was.
Do you recall who those were?
Yes, CSS Alexic and CSS Metz.
Okay. And when you arrived to photograph, well, actually, you didn't take the photographs on this particular day. You did collection and impounding. Is that fair?
Correct.
When you arrived, were the placards of the items that they wanted you to collect and take away, were those already placed?
Yes.
Okay. And on this particular day, did you start with items that were photo marked with these photo markers that we're hearing about 68 through 79?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to show you what's been admitted as exhibit 548. You mentioned CSS Metz was there assisting. Was she the one taking some of these photographs?
Yes, she was.
Okay. And exhibit 49 shows placards 68 and 69. Are those representing some of these large items of furniture that were collected and impounded?
Correct.
Same with exhibit 550. We see placard 70. Is that reflective of the table that was taken?
Yes.
Exhibit 551, placard 71, a comforter.
Correct.
And then exhibit 552, it looks like that 72 in the upper left-hand corner. Is that the fitted sheet?
I would have to check my notes if that was fitted or flat.
Okay.
72 was the fitted sheet, yes.
Okay. And then exhibit 553, it looks like there's a placard for each of those 2 pillows. Is that what that's representative of?
Correct.
Okay. And then exhibit 554, are we in a different bedroom now?
Yes.
Okay. And there's placards 75 through 78. And is that representative of various parts of the bedding that you collected from this room?
Yes, it is.
Moving into the living room, exhibit 555, I think we're looking at what is marked as 79. Is that the couch?
Yes, it is. The couch as a whole, and each cushion got its own separate indicator.
Okay, now you can't really see these in the photo, but is it fair to say that every single, excuse me, it's getting late in the day, every single pillow was marked with a letter and then packaged and taken?
Correct.
And then finally, the jury's heard about a portion of a beer bottle that was located on this last day. Is that what we're seeing in Exhibit 80?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I think Mr. Kirchler will have some additional photos of that.
Okay.
Also, on this particular day, you said that you had been working with Mark Carpenter, your supervisor.
Correct.
Was it your responsibility on February 21st to remove and collect, along with Mark Carpenter, certain hardware in the house?
Yes, it was.
I'm going to show you Exhibit 557. Do you see that? Are those the laundry room cabinets?
Yes, they are.
Are each of them marked with a sticker?
Yes, they are.
And I think at this point, they are labeled 1, 2, and 3. Are you able to check your report to confirm that?
Let me check. Correct. They are labeled as knob 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. Was it your understanding that these knobs had previously been swabbed on another day by another set of crime scene specialists?
Yes.
Exhibit 558, did you then collect the hardware from what appears to be the kitchen sink?
Yes.
And I believe those items are 1 and 2.
Correct.
Exhibit 559, is it your understanding that is the dresser from the master bedroom?
Yes, it is.
Did you take every single knob from that dresser?
Yes, I did.
And again, are they all marked with stickers so we know which knob came from where?
Correct.
And then finally, Exhibit 560, was the same thing done with this particular nightstand also located in the master bedroom?
Yes, it was.
And again, was each knob marked with a specific sticker?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Okay, we're almost done here, just a little bit more. You mentioned that you were also working with crime scene specialist Alexic on that day.
Correct.
Was she taking photos while you were doing some of the collection and impounding?
Correct.
Exhibit 496, is this placard reflective of some of the photos she was taking?
Yes.
Exhibit 497, did you collect these 2 closet doors?
Yes, I did.
And are they denoted with placards 81 and 82?
Yes, they are.
In the backyard, Exhibit 498, did you take this gate latch?
Yes, I did.
Exhibit 500, which is showing placard 85, what was collected here?
That was for the front deadbolt.
Okay. And then we have Exhibit 501. Does that appear to have a placard for the beer on top of the cooler as well as that particular cooler?
Correct.
And is this a more zoomed in version in Exhibit 502?
Yes, it is.
I believe you were asked, as your final assignment, were you asked to process additional areas for possible latent prints?
Yes, I was asked to process the hallway wall opposite of the doors that I took for any latent fingerprints.
Were you ultimately able to find any that you were able to collect?
No, it was negative results.
Like February 18th and February 20th, at the conclusion of your involvement on February 21st, did you then author a lab report memorializing everything that you had done on February 21st?
Yes, I did.
And then you were responsible for impounding the items that you had collected?
Yes, I was.
So like we've heard from other folks, were those either taken directly to the property annex of Scottsdale Police Department or put in a temporary locker so it could undergo that proper chain of custody?
Yes, they were.
And everything that day was individually packaged that you had collected and impounded?
Yes, it was.
Okay. My last question to you is, did you ever come into contact with anybody by the name of Ian Mitcham?
I have not.
I don't have any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, cross-examination, Mr. Kirchler, whenever you're ready.
Judge, I'll take the 15 minutes or so, but I may have a little bit more.
Okay.
Just let you know. Good afternoon. I'm not going to go through everything that the state already did. Do you have your report in front of you?
For which day?
All of them?
Yes, sir.
It should start at 5:24 and go through about 5. Actually, it goes the other way, sorry. Do you have it though, right?
Yes, I do.
There's two types of reports. One's handwritten, correct?
Correct.
And one's typewritten.
Correct.
And you did them both.
Yes.
And they document what you did on the 3 days that you were at the scene, correct?
Yes, I do.
I want to talk to you, starting with the 18th, okay?
Okay.
That's the first time you're at the scene, correct?
For 5/24, I have the date of the 20th.
Go backwards a little bit. So for the purposes of, I just want to make sure you had your report. I'm not asking you to look at
Okay,
stuff yet.
then yes.
And this is kind of in follow-up to what the state asked you. So on the 18th, you're in charge of the Pharaoh.
Yes, I am.
And the Pharaoh is a device that allows you to take accurate measurements of each of the rooms, correct?
Correct.
And you put those targets on the wall, correct?
Yes.
It can produce like a 3D image almost, correct?
Correct.
And diagrams.
Yes, sir.
And it's like laser almost, that it's that accurate, right?
Correct.
So when you are assigned this task on the 18th, the scene is pristine, correct?
It's as is, yes.
Nothing's been moved.
Not to my knowledge.
And you're with crime scene specialist McKenna, now Miss Davis, correct?
Correct.
And when you come back on the following day, you're assigned to take photographs, correct?
Correct.
Now, a day has passed, right?
Yes.
People are still working at the scene,
Correct.
and things have now moved, correct?
Correct.
And we talked about the backyard. I'm going to start there. That was the first thing that you did, correct?
Correct.
You went in the backyard and you were directed to look at these shoe prints.
Correct.
And I want to bring you to your reports regarding those shoe prints. First of all, it's 406. I have 406 through 408.
She has them.
I'm sorry. I'm going to show you it's been marked as 406. You already saw that. That's the placard.
Yes.
Okay. And that is from the 20th. And what we didn't go over was photographed by S. Hans. That's you.
Yes.
And B1442. What's that?
That is my civilian badge number with the city of Scottsdale.
And you use that to identify things that you work on, correct?
Correct.
So we might see a item that's B1442 dash something, correct?
Correct.
And that signifies that you're in charge of that.
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibits 407. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, on the right-hand corner of the photograph, you see a gate.
Yes, I do.
That is the gate that belongs to Allison Feldman's house, correct?
Correct.
If you look towards the left-hand side of the photograph, that is going towards Earl. Is that correct?
I'm not sure what the name of the street is.
Okay. Her house is further to the right, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to, and what we're looking at here is AA and AB, correct?
Correct.
And that's next to that Cox yellow thing.
Yes.
You were directed to look at those two areas because there were potentially partial footprints, correct?
Correct.
And you documented that, correct?
Yes, I did.
Not only did you take a photograph of it, but you document it as a partial.
Correct.
And that means that it's not heel to toe, correct?
Yes.
There's a pattern in the dirt.
Correct.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit 412. At the top, you have, that's PMAA, correct?
Correct.
And then it has a draw arrow to indicate north, and it's underlined. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes, I can.
And then there's in the middle right here where my pen is, it appears to be some type of pattern. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's the partial footprint that you identify, correct?
Yes, it is.
And the ruler that is there has a scale on it, correct?
Correct.
And that is in millimeters or millimeters, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's 0 to 300.
Correct.
That's 12 inches, right?
Correct.
So, we're running a little bit low on time, but so that's AA.
So Soxy, my cat, is outside. I see her out there. She's been laying against the fence. The sun's gone down now, but we had the sun was out. She was basking in the sun. And a squirrel came across the top of the fence and looked down and saw her and looked up like this and pounced just right in front of her and bolted. She got up and took after that squirrel like she was a 5-year-old cat. Oh, Lord, I needed that. That was awesome.
That's a partial print.
Correct.
AB is also designated, or you document as a partial print, correct?
Correct.
That pattern's a little bit more difficult to see, correct? No?
To some people, maybe, yes.
You
Sir.
can see it though.
Yes, I can.
It is not heel to toe, correct?
No, sir.
You document as a partial print,
Yes, sir.
and that was exhibit 413. I'm going to show you what's marked as exhibit 414. You see that?
Yes.
And again, that is PMAC,
Yes.
and you put that as a partial, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit 415. And that's also a partial,
Yes, sir.
and that's exhibit 415 showing AD.
Correct.
Now, in your reports for each of those prints, you put that there's no direction.
Yes, sir.
And that means that you can't tell if it's facing one way where the heel is or where the toe is. You can't tell. It's just a print, correct?
Correct.
And that's for all 4 of those.
Correct.
Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit more about what you did on the 20th. When you go into the house, you told us that you took some photographs, correct?
Correct.
And you took about 271 photographs, correct?
Correct.
And you went through the whole house again, correct?
Correct.
And somebody had already done that on the day before.
Correct.
When you went into that house, we talked earlier that things had been moved a little bit, correct?
Correct.
And it was not a pristine scene.
Correct.
I want to talk to you about specifically the living room. We need the living room photos, I'm sorry.
Which ones?
Starting with 301 through, sorry. I'm going to show you what's been marked as, hold on a second. .306. Well, let me show you 300 first. This is, you'd agree that's the placard we talked about earlier.
Yes.
Okay. And then as part of that, 306 is the living room.
Yes.
Do you agree with me there? Now, on the day before when you were taking your Pharaoh, when the scene was pristine, none of these cones were there.
Correct.
None of those placards were there.
Correct.
And the couch was actually moved, correct?
I would have to see a photo of where it was before.
I'll do that in a second.
Okay.
Before I get off of this picture,
Yes.
there was also some tables
Correct.
inside that they're not there anymore, correct?
Correct.
And there's like in the middle, before you get to this cone, there's like a apparatus.
Yes.
Is that crime scene stuff?
No, sir. That's lab personnel.
But it's not something that was pristine there the day before.
Correct.
And that's plugged in, going along the top of that stair, correct?
Correct.
And when you're taking these photographs, I'm going to show you marked as 307. There's quite a few, correct?
Quite a few what?
Stains or L, whatever you call those, L, whatever.
L markers. Yes, there are quite a few.
And your job is not only to photograph that, but also to swab those areas, correct?
Correct.
And you documented that you swabbed those areas in your report.
Yes, I did.
I had heard earlier that you didn't swab it. Was I mistaken?
She may have been talking about the light switches on a separate day.
Okay, but in the living room, you swabbed all those spaces, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it's documented.
Correct.
Judge, I'm about halfway done. This is before I go into the next part.
Okay.
This
We're-
is probably a good.
All right,
part.
we're pretty close to that 4:30, so we'll go ahead and break for today. As you know, today is Thursday, which means we are dark on Friday. We'll see you back here Monday at 10:30 a.m. We really appreciate your service, and please remember that admonition as you go home. Please do not watch any news stories or read any news stories or talk to anyone.
Okay, there you go, guys. They are done until well, they didn't have court on Friday, so that means, and it's 4:20 our time, so I'm probably going to end it for today. We will be having hearings tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow. At some point, y'all, at some point, this chick needs to go see Miss Angela. So one of these days this week, I'm going to be off. Maybe we could have something live, and then I'll be in the car going to Miss Angela's, and then I can hop on when I'm at Miss Angela's and say, we made it. I won't say why I'm going to Miss Angela's because I don't want to break the surprise. Yep, I know. Copy, Control V. Yes, there we go. So anyway, so we're going to stop here tomorrow. If there's no court and we're waiting for jury selection, we'll be playing day 11. We will catch up. I promise. I'm surprised that they're playing this. Really, really am surprised. We have another case that's popping that we're going to be looking at. Kind of wondering, we may or may not cover it. There's a lot of children cases right now, and I'm getting over inundated. Trying not to get over inundated with children cases. So trial for this, all right, Ian Mitcham's trial did resume on the 5th of January, i.e. today. That's day 11. So we will catch up with that. It's up to my mods. We can take a break for an hour or two and then come back at 6 o'clock my time. Or we can wait till tomorrow. It's going to be up to my mods. And we can get Ian Mitcham day 11 done. It's up to my fabulous mods. Yep, it sure is. Yep. I'm making something with using June's puppers. I'm making something using June's puppers. Yes, I is. Yep. June, I hope you like it. I know. I don't want to get in trouble with Miss June, but I hope she likes it. But I'm waiting for my mods. Will you please comment whether or not you want to come back tonight or not? Let me know. Let me know. Before I hang up, because last time I quit it too early. Waiting to see if I get a response. Okay, so we'll come back in a couple of hours for day 11. I need to go to the restroom. I need to stretch and all that. So we'll see you guys at 6 o'clock for part of day 11 of this trial. And we'll zoom. Okay. Y'all are simply the best, better than all the rest. And we will see you shortly. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so very much. And then I'll have an update on the jury and everything for the Gonzalez Uvalde trial. We'll go over all of that when we get ready. Yeah, we can all do our dinners in between. So see y'all at 6 o'clock Central. That's 4 o'clock West Coast, 7 o'clock East Coast, midnight in Brit in the UK. All right, guys, thanks a bunch for watching. We'll see you in a little bit. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.